the paper of invading her privacy and getting hold of her driving record. Publisher Eric Meyer, who blamed the death of his mother, who co-owned the paper, on stress from the raid the day before she died, said the agreement isn't about money, but to shed light on an assault on press freedom. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising the day after a big surge for the Dow, up 559 points to a new record high close, but the Nasdaq dropped 58. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Temperatures are cooling, but not concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this fall. BestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through BestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and BestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. BestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
From darkness to divine light, the Sag Bridge Mission Society brings you an engaging evening with author and evangelist Zachary King, a former high wizard Satanist who experienced a powerful conversion through the Blessed Mother and miraculous journey to Catholicism. Mr. King will teach how spiritual influences and modern culture can open doors to darkness and how to protect your family. Register now at sagbridgemissonsociety.org for one of 3 talks, Friday, November 21st at 7 p.m. for adults, Saturday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. for teens, and Sunday, November 23rd also at 7 p.m. Hosted by Anchor Young Adults Group for ages 20 to 35. All talks will be held at SAG Hall located at 100-600 Archer Avenue in Lamont, Illinois, near the corner of Route 83 and Archer Avenue. There's no charge for admission, but seating is limited. So register now. Visit sagbridgemissonsociety.org.
All right, holiday time is coming. That means it is high crime season, but not all crime should be addressed the same way. We have statistics from the FBI, and that's 2022. Firearms is only necessary less than 1% of the time. Now, the burner launcher covers 99.99% of altercations with the firepower needed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes. I carry one myself. I recommend every family concerned about safety and security have one as well. The Burner Compact Launcher is the smallest, less lethal launcher that is concealable anywhere. Now, it may be small, but it fires powerful kinetic rounds, tear gas, an attacker cold for up to 40 minutes with a range of 60 feet, and you can confidently and effectively de-escalate any situation without using lethal force. You don't need a background check. It's legal in all 50 states. It comes straight to your door. Go to byrna.com and get the launcher that is right for you and your family.
Ready for some holiday magic? Pack up the family and cruise over to Go-Bert's Farm in Pingree Grove, where 2 incredible Christmas light shows are waiting to light up your night. First up, the Go-Bert's Christmas Drive-Thru Light Show. We're talking millions of lights synchronized to music that'll have you cranking up the volume. Picture this: dancing penguins getting their groove on, snowflakes cascading all around you, reindeer galloping through enchanted fields, plus a dazzling tunnel of lights that's pure Christmas magic. But wait, there's more. The legendary Larson Christmas Light Show, the one everyone's been raving about from Campton Hills, is now right here on the Go-Bert's property. 30 minutes of jaw-dropping lights, spectacular special effects, and surprise character visits that'll make the kids lose their minds with excitement. Here's the best part: you can experience both shows in one epic night. Perfect for families, couples, or even your company party bus. Because yes, limos and party buses are totally welcome. Per vehicle pricing keeps it affordable, but grab your tickets online now because these shows are selling fast. Visit GoBerts.com for tickets, times, and all the details. Go-Bert's Farm, where Christmas dreams come to life.
Hugh Hewitt explains how crazy things were before Trump.
What Special Prosecutor Jack Smith was trying to do before the election ended what he was doing. Whistleblower has turned over evidence of 197 subpoenas that went out from Jack Smith. In other words, you had a maniac running the investigation appointed by Merrick Garland with no oversight. A maniac.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's November 12th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National French Dip Day. What exactly is a French dip? Well, it's a hot sandwich served with thin slices of beef or pork on French bread. The key to a good French dip is making certain the sandwich is served with a side of its own au jus and spicy mustard. You then dunk the sandwich into the drippings and munch away. The origins of the French dip date back to 1908 in downtown Los Angeles, where Cole's French dip is believed to have created the sandwich. Also on this date, in 1920, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis is elected as the first commissioner of baseball. And in 1966, astronaut Buzz Aldrin takes the first space selfie, which is a picture of him performing duties in space during the Gemini program. If it's your birthday today, you share it with the man who invented Hot Wheel cars, the Chatty Cathy doll, and the Barbie doll, Jack Ryan, born in 1926. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal locally.
President Trump has made some pretty amazing claims since he's taken his seat as president. He's delivering on what he promised. On Inauguration Day, Trump's very first declaration was,
"The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish."
Consider this. Since the election, gold has shot up hundreds of dollars per ounce, shattering all-time record highs. Fox Valley Coins does not pretend to know the future, but they do know that if you're buying or selling gold or silver, they are the place to do it. These are some of the top reasons people choose a dealer. You want a national dealer with a local presence you can deal with face-to-face. You want a large selection, the best prices, and great service. You want to walk in with cash and walk out with the best product. You want to deal with legacy dealers with integrity. Whether buying or selling or just want valuation, Fox Valley Coins is your answer for choosing a dealer. Visit Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. FoxValleyCoins.com. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com, where engagement's middle name.
Hi, this is Sean Morrison, owner of Morrison Security Corporation. Here in Chicagoland, we see it all. Rising crime, civil unrest, and growing concerns for the safety of our families, our schools, our places of worship, and our businesses. Every American has a right, the Second Amendment right, to protect what matters most. At Morrison Security, we take that responsibility seriously. For over 25 years, we've been on the front lines, providing licensed, highly trained security officers, men and women committed to professionalism, reliability, and results. We stand for truth, honesty, and integrity, and we bring those values to every client we protect. Whether you need coverage for a school, a church, a retail location, construction site, or corporate facility, our mission is simple: protect people and property with excellence and accountability. Morrison Security Corporation. Protection you can trust, integrity you can count on. I am Sean Morrison, and you have my word, honesty and integrity always. Visit MorrisonSecurity.com. That's MorrisonSecurity.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Are you a small business with just a couple of computers? Or maybe 50? Then listen up, because your business deserves the same protection and support the big guys get. Small businesses are the backbone of our country, and they're often overlooked. Not with Turnkey. We're entirely focused on the small business community. For 30 years, our multi-generational family-run IT company has been the trusted technical partner for small businesses just like yours. We're not some giant monolithic faceless corporation. We're local, we're personal, and we're passionate about helping small businesses thrive. From advanced backup, antivirus, and anti-ransomware to help desk support that actually helps, we've got your back. And right now, we're offering new customers a powerful firewall router, a local and cloud backup device, plus your first month of service absolutely free. Because at our core, we believe small businesses deserve big protection. At Turnkey, we're champions of small business. So visit us at turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro. Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be mostly sunny with the breeze reaching a high of 53. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 35. Tomorrow expect sun with areas of high clouds and a high of 56. By Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, AM 560, The Answer. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc filling in for Dan Proft. He's back on Monday. I get to be with you for the rest of the week. And you know what's so funny? Here's what's so funny. This is so funny. I was thinking about this last night before I went to bed. I have the privilege of filling in for Dan regularly. And the last time I was on, I was laughing to myself last night because the last time I was on, I was playing what do you call it? The Sombrero Shutdown, the El Schumer Shutdown. And I was playing, what am I thinking about? Salsa. Some salsa dance music or something like that. And so here I am, somewhere around 30 or 40 days since I last joined you. And the Schumer Shutdown is about to end. And I want to sit here with you and reflect on what you got from the shutdown. What did you get? 40 plus days. What did you get from this? And by the way, what did the Democrats, get by shutting down the government? Let's start out with people who rely on food stamps to eat. Now, there are some people, there's a good amount of people that you and I know are fraudulent and don't need the help, and yet take the help from our tax dollars to feed themselves, even though, again, they don't need the help. But there are some people who do need the help, and I want to focus on them first. What did these people who rely on help by having food stamps, what did they get? Well, let's see here. This is quite interesting. Let's listen to some of the people in the news over the past 24 hours and what they've said the shutdown has done for them.
Standing here today, I'm horrified
by what is happening in our country.
We know someone that actually was climbing into the dumpster to find food, and that just broke our heart. We just actually had a young boy in our after-school program.
Let me stop it right there. Did you hear that? People are dumpster diving. This is out of Western New York, Buffalo, Niagara Falls area. People are dumpster diving. The Democrats have made for 40-plus days their constituents go dumpster diving so they can eat. Now, I wonder how many Democrat congressmen and how many Democrat senators put on their grubby clothes and jumped in that dumpster to help get some food for their constituents. Maybe you find a half-eaten chicken wing. Maybe you find some, at the end of the day, the restaurant or the Starbucks will throw out all their food that's expired. Maybe go through and find some expired food. Yes, you heard this right. Dumpster diving. That's what the Democrats got you if you rely on food stamps. Some people.
I'm standing here today. I'm horrified by what is happening in our country.
We know someone that actually was climbing into the dumpster to find food, and that just broke our heart. We just actually had a young boy in our after-school program. We served hot dogs. He rolled up one of the hot dogs and said, "Pastor, can I take one home to my mom?"
Isn't this nice what the Democrats did for their constituents? Dumpster diving, children begging to bring an extra hot dog home to mom. That's what they voted for. This is what you got in the Schumer shutdown, the Democrat shutdown.
It's just, and this is reality.
Literally, the line was all the way out to the front desk area. People were still coming. And then we realized, I'm like, hey, let me just check my staff, check the inventory. We realized, we're going to run out of food.
And then you hear all day and night last night, you heard Democrats lamenting that the shutdown had ended. And they got nothing. And you hear Jon Stewart was being played on Fox News a lot, and he dropped a few swear words and said, "This is what we got. What did we get? What did they get for us? What did they do?" Nothing. They did. They starved their constituents. It's very interesting as well because you look at Breitbart editor Alex Marlow, and he said it so succinctly but so brilliantly. The Democrat shutdown cave prove they were the ones inflicting the mass suffering. Now, you have heard from the Democrats that it is the Republicans that are making the suffering. It is the Republicans who refuse to give out food stamps. But no, because the moment the shutdown ends, and since it technically has not ended yet, but kind of yesterday, the suffering is suddenly almost at an end. Now, how is it that the Democrat Party would shut down the government by refusing to vote to do the continuing resolution? And then here we are, 40 days later, 41 days later, something like that. They're about to vote to end it. So the fact that they are voting now for it and that the suffering will soon come to an end proves they were the ones that did all this. I love how they're talking about health care and how dare you, Republicans.
This is a moral choice. A choice by the Trump administration built on cruelty. Shame on this president and shame on congressional Republicans that are enabling him to do this to the American people.
Yes. And yet they're the ones who are taking action to stop this by voting to reopen the government. Shame on the Republicans. Because the next time we're going to vote for this will be, the 15th or 16th time? So we will have voted the 16th time approximately shortly on our side, the Republican side, the conservative side. We'll vote to keep it open like we've been doing all along. The only difference will be the Democrats, 8 of them, are going to vote to open the government up. But it's still somehow the Republicans' fault. So what did we get? What did you get for the shutdown? You don't even get a T-shirt. They're not even giving you a T-shirt. You have to buy your own T-shirt. I survived the longest government shutdown, and I got this T-shirt, but I had to pay for it. That sounds about right. Or I survived the shutdown, and what did I get? I got a free dumpster diving tour. The Democrats made people dumpster dive. Here's a little bit more from some folks and talking about the suffering.
This is not the way it should be. People should be getting fed. I didn't know this was a discussion.
We've obtained an emergency distribution of $130,000. It may sound like that's a large amount, but when we think about the hurt and the despair that our community is facing, that's peanuts. We're working with a network of churches on the east side of Buffalo, Niagara Falls, and Lackawanna to restock pantries. We're hearing from our frontline churches that they're running out of food as well.
So this is what you got for the Democrat shutdown. If you rely on food stamps, you're starved. Now, there's another side of this. Here we have an obese woman in New York City. And there she stood in front of the cameras telling you that she was literally starving.
It's really bad. Danielle Grant is starving. I'm trying to see if I can get some food because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make it.
This obese woman who says she gets food stamps literally is on the side of the street being interviewed in front of a camera telling you that she is just standing there on a street corner starving. Behold, we as a nation are screwed. I'm starving. You're not embarrassed to be standing here telling us you're starving instead of going out and finding something to eat or finding a job? I am starving. Help me. I am starving. So this is what the Democrats did. They starved you. They forced people into dumpster diving. And then also, if that wasn't good enough, perhaps you're not on food stamps like most of us. Well, then maybe you were one of the wonderful, fortunate people that was able to sit on a tarmac on an airplane for 12 hours. One passenger sat at the Newark International Airport for more than 12 hours waiting for his flight to leave. Thanksgiving would have been a travel nightmare. By the way, it still might be. So perhaps you were one of the people that sat on a tarmac for 12 hours. That is what the Democrats did for you. Over a period of 40 days, they starved you. If they didn't starve you, maybe you were sitting in a plane for 12 hours waiting to take off. These are the gifts from the Democrat Party. By the way, flights will not go back. Isn't this something else to sit here and talk about? What are we going to do? We're going to shut the government down. What's going to happen if you shut the government down? People are going to be sitting in a plane for 2 hours, 12 hours. They're going to have their flights canceled over and over again. And if they are on food stamps, they're going to starve. Let's do that. I'm in. Where do we sign up for this? Shutting down the government for dummies. Step 1, shut the government down. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, we win. Behold! This is great. Absolutely great. So you tell me what you got for the shutdown. What did you get for the shutdown, and what did the Democrats get? Chime in right now. Lines wide open at 312-642-5600. 312-642-5600. Also, the information coming in yesterday afternoon, flights will still not go back to normal immediately once the government is reopened. Travel experts say flights could still be in shambles for a while. It's funny enough because my wife and I talking, and I'm going to have to come before Christmas time this year to come visit my family in Chicago, where I'm at in DFW. And she's like, well, you're going to go in early to mid-December. Aren't you going to be worried about flights canceling and everything like that? And I'm like, well, no, it's probably okay because it should be, 3 weeks later that we should be better. But we don't even know. Isn't this amazing that even 2 weeks after the shutdown, the Democrats might be making you sit on a tarmac or getting your flights canceled? Are you not excited about this? Who's with me? Travel experts say flights could still be in shambles for a while. It will take time for airlines to get back to regular staffing. This could still include Thanksgiving travel. A nice big turd in the punch bowl for your Thanksgiving plans from the Democrats in the shutdown. One pilot was viral over the weekend on social media telling passengers, call your senator after sitting on a runway for 2 hours. Here we have some folks who traveled for a football game in Miami from New York. Well, they were at the airport there in Miami when they found out their flight was canceled. And then they said, well, let's see if we can book in Orlando. We're told that that's better. It's not affected. It's not one of those 40 airports. They book in Orlando. They rent a car for $130. They drive up to Orlando. And they get to Orlando, and their flight gets delayed, and then it gets canceled. So then they spend $1,300 to rent a car, drive all the way from Miami up to New York. That's what they got for the Schumer shutdown. This is their reward for voting Democrat. Isn't this great? Wasn't this a great plan? Kind of like a Democrat tax, isn't it? Here's your Democrat tax. You're going to pay $1,300 to get home after you already bought a ticket. And then you have the quote-unquote Affordable Care Act. It is so affordable. Former President Hussein Obama has done such great work with the Affordable Care Act that it cannot be affordable unless you and I pay for subsidies of said Affordable Care Act. I want to get into that coming up next, plus your call. Several lines open, 312-642-5600. What did you get for the Democrat shutdown? And then what also do you think the Democrats got for the shutdown? Pretty successful strategy, huh? It's Chris Crock and for Dan Proft. This is AM 560, The Answer.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning. It is 38 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A new Wallet Hub Best and Worst Cities to Drive In for 2025 survey of the 100 largest cities ranks Chicago near the bottom, including 99th for traffic and infrastructure. GOP State Senator Steve McClure argues when it comes to placing blame that all roads lead to Springfield.
It's red tape, it's requirements in Illinois and a labor shortage, and it's also there hasn't been enough initiative of state government to get these things done.
Cook County officials say the second installment of property tax bills for tax year 2024 are expected to be mailed to property owners this Friday with a due date of December 15th. Bills are mailed to owners twice a year in 2 installments. Cook County's tax system officials blame this year's delay on an overhaul of the system's technological backbone. News is sponsored by Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now...
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO.
This is Seth Leibson for townhall.com. About Zohran Mamdani's election, a few thoughts. Listening to his supporters and statements, there's no question as to Marxist loyalty. And as DSA founder Michael Harrington wrote, Karl Marx is, quote, a democratic socialist in the most profound sense of the phrase, close quote. Neither should we be fooled by the DSA's use of the word democratic. China, Cuba, North Korea, and Venezuela all claim to be democratic socialist republics in their constitutions. So did the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR, in its day. About which, one popular supporter of Mamdani's, with millions of social media followers, said on election night in New York he wished the USSR, not the U.S., had won the Cold War. Finally, the Democratic Party is welcoming of all of this into its ranks, with prominent members endorsing it, hardly any denouncing it. It's time for all America to take Marxism seriously. After all, the youth movement behind Mom Donnie himself, and seemingly the bulk of the Democratic Party do. I'm Seth Leibson.
The national debt is soaring and the dollar is weakening. Rising deficits and market instability are creating a perfect storm of economic uncertainty. In unpredictable times, more people are turning to physical gold and silver, real tangible assets that have protected wealth for centuries, as a way to safeguard their savings and retirement.
And now, with the Fed preparing another rate cut, precious metals are poised for dramatic gains in the coming weeks.
At Advantage Gold, we help you move your IRA or eligible 401k into physical precious metals, tax-free and penalty-free. When you call
800-741-GOLD,
you'll receive a free gold guide packed with real-world strategies to help protect your investments.
Call 800-741-GOLD
or visit AdvantageGold.com.
Call 800-741-4653.
Consult with your financial and tax professionals before making investment decisions.
Call 800-741-GOLD.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay, and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be mostly sunny with breezy conditions reaching a high of 53. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 35. Tomorrow will bring sunshine with some high clouds reaching a high of 56. Looking ahead to Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
About 40 days ago, I was with you filling in for Dan Proft again, and this is Chris Crock, of course, filling in for Dan. If you want to follow me on social media, all the stuff I'm talking about, you're hearing is on my social media feed. Go to Twitter, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRASKROK, or, of course, X, whatever you want to call it. What did you get for the Democrat shutdown, the Schumer shutdown? So 40-plus days ago, I was playing mariachi music and talking about the sombrero on Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer's head. Today, we know what you got for shutting the government down. You're sitting on a tarmac for 12 hours, 2 hours. Your flight is canceled. Or perhaps you have been forced into dumpster diving thanks to the Democrat shutdown. This is what you got.
I'm standing here today. I'm horrified by what is happening in our country.
We know someone that actually was climbing into the dumpster to find food, and that just broke our heart.
God bless the Democrats for forcing their constituents to dumpster dive. This is exactly what the Democrat Party was founded upon, making you and me dumpster dive for food. By the way, that obese lady I played for you a little earlier, here she is again.
It's really bad.
Danielle Grant is starving.
I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can get some food.
It's like an actor in a movie. Starving woman. She's this woman standing on the street corner. I'm starving. I've ran out of food stamps. I'm just standing here starving. Help me. Help me. Ma'am, you can dumpster dive. It's a Democrat plan. That's why we shut the government down, so you can dumpster dive.
I know. I'm trying to see if I can get some food. Because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make it.
You know, makes me think about Alex Jones when he says these are paid crisis actors. Is this freaking lady stupid enough to stand there on a street corner and give somebody in the news comes up to her and she just says, I'm just standing here starving. Starving lady. What is your title? What is your role? Are you an actor? Yes, I play a lot of different parts. I played starving lady on the news in suburban or New York City. What the hell's going on? And by the way, if you're standing there starving, you might need to learn how to hunt. I mean, you want to talk about screw we are as a country. If people don't get government food stamps and they just stand there and starve. I don't know what to do. I'm going to stand here and just starve. Waiting for a news crew to come ask me what's going on. Now, we need some help down here. Meantime, it's called the Affordable Care Act. Former President Hussein Obama, his crowning achievement. Affordable is the first word in the Affordable Care Act, but yet it's not affordable unless we have subsidies. What? You know, the average premium when in 2014 for Obamacare was like $247 a month. Now it's like $464 or something of the nature. It's more than doubled seemingly in 11 years. That's affordable. Yes, as former President Hussein Obama said, it's going to bend the curve of the cost of health care. Now, what you really need to know about is these subsidies. Because if you know what you're paying for with our tax dollars, well, let me just tell you this. If you are a family of 4 living in Phoenix, Arizona, the Biden COVID healthcare subsidies says that you and I are paying for their healthcare on Obamacare. They can make up to $600,000 a year for a family of 4 in Phoenix. How do you feel about subsidizing a family of 4 living in Phoenix, Arizona, pulling down $600,000 a year? You like paying for their health care? Because that's what the Democrats want to continue. To subsidize a mom, dad, and 2 kids pulling down $600,000 a year. Now, if you're making $600,000 a year, you're probably driving something like a Porsche Cayenne. Maybe you're living in a 5,000 square foot house. How do you like that? You're paying for their health care. Isn't that great? Who doesn't want? And by the way, you need to stop listening to radio and go get a second or a third job to make sure that people making $600,000 a year that you're paying for their health care. Stop lollygagging, get a second or third job, and get to work for those people in Phoenix. Now, you are also subsidizing for a couple in West Virginia making up to $580,000 a year. You're paying for their health care. How do you like that? If you're making $580,000 a year as a husband and wife and you're living in West Virginia, what is that, like making $1 million a year in Chicago? You're paying for their health care. That's the Affordable Care Act subsidies. You could also be a single person. What is he saying? You a grown-ass man. You could be making up to $180,000 a year in Vermont as a man or a woman, single. And we're paying for your health care. We're subsidizing your health care. How exciting is this? That's the Affordable Care Act. People like you and me working a second or third job, maybe, to subsidize people who are upper middle class or higher. You're paying for their health care. This is what the subsidies do. This is what we must have. Now, here's the funny thing, too, about the Democrats. This coming in from fake news CNN Chief Congressional Correspondent Manu Raju. Quote, some Democrats are happy the other Democrats voted to end the shutdown. A lot of them didn't want to take the heat. Oh, thank you. Thank you for voting to reopen the government even though I can't. Thank you so much. Hakeem Jeffries, with a sombrero, saying yesterday afternoon that we have accomplished what we set out to do with the shutdown. We have elevated successfully the issue of the Affordable Care Act subsidies. This is why we shut the government down. We shut it down for 40 days, made you dumpster dive, miss your planes, screw you over for Thanksgiving traveling, all so that we could just raise awareness for the health care subsidies so you can fund upper middle class and higher people's health care. There you go. That's why they just did it for awareness. So I'm asking you this. What did you get for the shutdown? And what do you think the Democrats got for shutting down the government for over 40 days? Couple lines open at 312-642-5600. Let's go to Craig in Mount Greenwood. Craig, you are on AM 560. The answer, it's Chris Crocken for Dan Proft. Did I hit the right button? Try it again. There you go, Craig. How's that? Am I pushing the wrong button, guys?
Wait, can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate you taking my call. I got 2 things out of it, and so I realized they took and they were super sour grapes on their side. They really hate the fact that Trump got over them again on the big new bill. And there's a lot of great things in there for the Americans. And Democrats, they just don't want them to get it, so they're using all kind of excuses. So here's the two things I got out of it. Confirmation that they're even worse than what I thought before with regard to how they lie, steal, and deceive. I'm thinking about that. I thought I got a new acronym out of it, because now this is the party of LSD. Lying, stealing, and destroying.
And then maybe you want to add lying, stealing, destroying, LSD, DD, and dumpster diving.
Oh, yeah.
They make you dumpster dive. This is a great party. Appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you very much. Let's go to Andy on I-80. Andy, you are on AM 560, The Answer. Chris in for Dan. Hello, sir.
Chris, how you doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you.
This is kind of what I got. I play their social side, and their social side began with me in a book called, I think It Takes a Village.
Yes.
And that was, yes. Okay, so
from the lozenge lizard.
Because their village is Hillary Clinton and the government, basically. My side of the equation, and I think most Republicans would like to see the government out of all of those roles so the people can actually take care of what they're supposed to, just like they broadcast in Hillary's book. It does take a village, but not the government. The government has just a few functions. Let's keep them there where they belong, and let's get on with life. I think it's a pretty good springboard, as a matter of fact, for the Republicans to focus on, as Dan has throughout this week, where we need to be shrinking government so they can focus on the importance. Period.
Andy, I appreciate your call, my brother. Let's go to Paul in Cary, where my wife lived for most of her young adult life. Hey, how are you, Paul?
Morning, Chris. Hey, what I got out of it is, I think it's pretty much safe to say, is like those people driving next to me on 90, on our way to our jobs. Yeah, we're on our way to our jobs. So I would think that the realization is that we got nothing out of it, actually. And if I could expand on this will never happen. It'll never happen. But this program is easily solvable, and we could still take care of those people that are really in need.
Right.
And that is by just giving them flour, eggs, the essentials, milk, bread, rice, beans. And it'll work threefold. It'll eliminate the reselling of those EBT cards.
Yep.
It'll encourage those people on those types of benefits to get a job, because they will grow tired of having to actually cook the food, cook the bread, perhaps, and actually sit there. And if they're going to scream, no, I don't have time, you have more than enough time. You're not working. You can learn to cook your food, and you can still survive. And it's not cruel. But the sad thing is, it'll never happen, because whatever party, it'll never be the Democrat Party, they will be labeled as cruel. But it's not meant to go to Snickers bars, Doritos. So, the third point is, it'll also save money, because the dollars will go further for flour, eggs, bread, milk, and so forth. It's just common sense.
I'm looking at
Snickers bars.
I'm looking at an article from the Daily Mail. Here's a guy who is down to $10 in his account, relying on what's left in the pantry, mostly rice and ramen. And it really is exactly what you're saying. You don't need all this food to sustain yourself or survive. And so perhaps the government taught you how to live on very little, like you said, and have basic ingredients so you can sustain yourself. So let's go to George in Naperville. George, you are on AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crocken for Dan Proft.
Good morning, Chris. We got to share in the disruption and chaos with the Democrats, because most of us were too sane to participate in stupid no king rallies, so we didn't see him there.
Yeah, where was the king that we supposedly have? The king could have stopped the government shutdown, right?
That's true, Chris.
Wait a minute. So the Democrat Party, which doesn't control any House of Congress, doesn't control the presidency, was able to shut the government down. We had to wait for them to vote to reopen it, but yet we have a king. This does not make any sense to me. Thanks for your call, sir. Let's go to Corey in Woodlawn. Hey, Corey, you're on AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crocken for Dan Proft.
Hey, Chris. Good morning. You know, what I got out of it is that how many people listen to sound bites. I spent so much time texting the bill to people, showing the nays and the yays and who actually shut the government down. Another thing that I wanted to say about the young woman that was crying in front of the camera, thanks to Jesse Smollett, I believe none of that. I think all of these guys are actors. There happens to be a cameraman nearby where you can spill out and start crying. It doesn't make much sense to me. I'm going to say she was an actor, probably for the Democrat Party.
This is the funniest thing in the world to me watching this. I appreciate your call. I'm not trying to be mean, but this obese woman, she's probably about, producer Justin, you know, what did she look like to you? About 70 to 100 pounds overweight, maybe? Okay, maybe more. You have a woman who's about 100 pounds overweight, maybe more, standing there. She's well coiffed. Her hair is colored and it looks pretty good. She's got a hoodie that looks very nice. She's got her backpack on, and she's just standing there saying, "I am just standing here starving."
It's really bad. Danielle Grant is starving. I'm trying to see if I can get some food because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make it.
Hi, my name is Danielle Grant. I'm standing on a street corner starving. I am a professional starver. That's my job. I'm waiting for the Democrats to reopen the government for my food stamps. Oh my gosh. Josh, you are in Braidwood on AM 560 The Answer. Chris and Verdan.
Hey, good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good. Listen, do you remember the movie Look Who's Talking with John Travolta and Kirstie Alley?
Yes.
Do you remember the scene where she's fantasizing about having a family with John, and she's like imagining all the kids at the table, and he's teaching them all how to dumpster dive and how to live off the streets, and he's opening up a head of lettuce, and he's like, "You just got to peel back a couple layers." Every time you say dumpster dive, immediately my mind goes to that scene, and I love it.
So there you go. That's what the Democrats got us for their shutdown. They got us dumpster diving.
Dumpster diving, baby. We need a bumper sticker and a T-shirt.
That's exactly right. The Democrats shut the government down, and I got to dumpster dive. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. God bless the Democrats for entertaining us so much. And it's just so funny. Let's go to Eduardo in Tampa Bay. Eduardo, you are on AM 560. The Answer. Chris in Verdan.
Yeah, Chris, good morning. It's been a while, but I was like when you suffered, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, they didn't get anything out of this. I was noticing they were feeling pretty good with last Tuesday's elections, and now they're getting all depressed. So they're not going to win anything because it's gerrymandered, and this is a Democrat Party that only thinks about illegals, free giveaways. So they're nothing. They're a do-nothing party.
Let's sit here for a second, and let me ask you something. Let's think out loud.
Sure.
You have people that vote Democrat. You have people that were blaming Trump and the Republicans for the shutdown, even though we know it was not the Republicans at all. They just wanted to continue the continuing resolution, which was funding what the Democrats did with Biden and his spending plan. So then you have the Democrats suddenly say, okay, 8 of us total are now going to vote to reopen the government. Do the people that were buying the crap that it was Trump's fault or the Republicans' fault that the government shut down, do they still think it's the Republicans' fault? I mean,
the Democrats. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Do they still think it's Trump and the Republicans' fault now that they see that the Democrats caved? And you know what else too? I was thinking about this last night. I was listening to some of the what do you call it? The fake comedy shows that are on. You know, the what do you call it? The late night shows that all suck now because all they do is pimp for Democrats. So they were all attacking the Democrats for capitulating. So, like, do the people that watch Jimmy Kimmel, the godforsaken leftists that watch Jimmy Kimmel and somehow think it's a comedy, when they see Jimmy Kimmel attack the Democrats for reopening the government, when they watch Jon Stewart rip on the Democrats for reopening the government and getting nothing, do they then realize that it was the Democrats that actually shut the government down and not Trump and the Republicans, or do they still somehow think that Trump and the Republicans are responsible for the shutdown?
They're in deniability, yeah.
That's just a funny thing to think about. Like, if you're sitting there, if you're one of these Democrats that blame Trump and the Republicans and think it's their fault, and then you see all of your favorite late night guys, since you're a leftist, and you see all your favorite late night guys attacking the Democrats for reopening the government, do you still somehow think that it's not the Democrats' fault, that it's the Republicans' fault? Interesting. Manny, you're on the south side. You are on AM 560 The Answer. Chris and Verdan.
This is the motto of the Democratic Party. They take an issue or they take a topic and they make it worse, and then they want you to rely on it. And then they come around and, 5 or 8 years later, they said, we're going to fix it. Vote for us. That's what happened. That's why we got a Mandani in New York City.
So in other words, they shut the government down. People are dumpster diving that rely on food stamps, and it's because the Democrats shut it down. But yet the Democrat they sit there and think, if we can just get the Republicans to change their mind, we can get out of this.
They create a need, and then they want the people to rely on that need, and then they come around and they say, we're going to fix it.
You did it better. Thank you.
We got Mandani.
You did it way better than I was trying to say it. So exactly right. So the Democrats create a crisis on purpose.
That's what they did.
Yes, and then, which they did, we know that, and then they point to the crisis and say, this is the Republicans' fault. And you say, well, wait a minute. You voted to shut the government down. You keep voting to shut the government down. Yes, it's Trump's fault. It's the Republicans' fault.
Look at healthcare. Healthcare was supposed to be affordable. If it was affordable, why does the government have to fund it?
Well, yeah, and if it's affordable, as you're saying, why do we have to pay for subsidies? Why do we need subsidies? I thought it was affordable. Former President Hussein Obama said it's the Affordable Care Act. It's so affordable that we need subsidies or people are going to die. That was my favorite one. Some of these Democrats say, they're killing people. You're killing people. How? What happened? Because the Democrats shut the government down. You're killing people. What? Oh, let's go to Phil in Merrillville. Phil, I just laugh when I see what your call's about. You're on AM 560, The Answer. Chris and Verdan.
I was just listening, and from that girl's voice, I was just picturing in my head, she's doing a puppet show, and she got just like a little overweight puppet that's talking.
So this lady, this lady who's standing, this is from like News 5 or News 11 or something like that. Based out of New York City, or based out of Long Island. She's sitting there, and she's standing there starving. She's obese, and here we go.
It's really bad. Danielle Grant is starving. I'm trying to see if I can get some food, because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make it.
Okay, that's the puppet show. I see. Very interesting. Would you not even be embarrassed to be saying, hi, I'm 100 pounds or so overweight, and I'm starving because I don't have food stamps. I'm standing here. No sense of embarrassment or shame. I am helpless. I'm just standing here starving. Somebody give me something for free. I can't sustain myself in a first world country. All right, coming up next, we got let's see, what do we got here? Coming up next, we have, Chief Wetzel, retired chief of police from Riverside, on the Mamdani effect on policing in Chicago, and so much more. This is Chris Crock and Verdan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
Did the Protestant Reformation suffer a premature death? Absolutely, argues the riveting book, Reviving the Reformation by Dr. Daniel Lang. The book of Acts chapter 21 verse 20 reports that myriads or tens of thousands of Jewish believers dwelled in Jerusalem, and they were all zealous for the Torah. Their leaders were guiding the early Messianic faith. 40 years after the death of Jesus, however, the Jews revolted against Rome. This rebellion caused a Roman hammer to crush Israel, destroying the temple and Jerusalem. Following this devastation, the leadership of the Jerusalem church fell into other hands. Reviving the Reformation recovers the lost first-century Messianic faith. It answers the most difficult questions that some dare not ask about traditional Christianity. Buy Reviving the Reformation on Amazon. For a deep discount, purchase the book securely from the author at revivingthereformation.com. That's revivingthereformation.com. And like Reviving the Reformation on Facebook. With biblical faith fading fast in Western culture, now is the time to restore the truth by reviving the Reformation.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
It's the vote to set up the vote to reopen the government. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it happened early this morning in the House Rules Committee.
8 yeas, 4 nays.
The ayes have it. The motion to report is agreed to.
That tees up a final House vote later today.
That bill will keep the government operating through January and will fund some government agencies, including the Department of Agriculture, through September, which, of course, controls those SNAP or food stamp benefits.
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. The shutdown cut off some of that food assistance. The Supreme Court extended an order blocking full SNAP payments that would go out once the government reopens. Democrats have been critical of Republicans keeping the House out of session during the shutdown.
Welcome back from your taxpayer-funded 7-week vacation.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries does not support the funding bill because it does not include what Democrats demanded, an extension of Obamacare tax credits expiring at year's end, driving up the cost of coverage for millions of Americans. Republican Congressman Buddy Carter tells Fox,
I agree. We're probably going to have to extend some of the subsidies temporarily to see if we can't get some of those premiums down. But long term, the Unaffordable Care Act is not working.
The Senate plans to vote on that next month. Travel might get better in the coming days as air traffic controllers expect to finally be paid soon.
Staffing levels at air traffic control towers across the country were much better yesterday than the previous few days, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is hoping that continues today now that there's optimism that the government could reopen as early as this evening.
Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble at Reagan National Airport near D.C. There are almost 900 more flights canceled today, more than 400 delays. There were over 5,000 flights affected yesterday. Another lottery fortunes building to nearly $1 billion. Nobody hit the Mega Millions jackpot last night, so it grows to $965 million for Friday's drawing, the 14th biggest U.S. lottery prize ever. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 38 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Department of Homeland Security released new numbers indicating that crime has been decreasing in the city of Chicago since the beginning of Operation Midway Blitz. Data shows homicides are down by 16%, shootings down by 35%, and robberies decreased by 41%. CBP senior advisor Ron Vitelio praised the work done by law enforcement and tells Fox's America's Newsroom that they plan to continue their operation in order to deal with violent crime.
We will continue to have a prioritization for getting the worst of the worst out of every single city in the United States. And if they're going to take a break out of Chicago, or if they're going to use different tactics, the mission will continue at every level.
However, Chicago police data shows that crime was down before the federal crackdown even started, with shootings, robberies, and murders down by almost a third as compared to last year, which is also similar to trends in other cities across the country. Local and state officials, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, have criticized the deployment of federal troops by President Trump as an abuse of power and argue that crime prevention should be left to local law enforcement. Speaking of crime, 3 people were shot inside a Jewel Osco store in the Bronzeville neighborhood yesterday. According to reports, 2 people were confronted as they tried to take some merchandise. One of the suspects then shot a male victim multiple times. 2 other people inside the store were also hit. The male victim was transported to the hospital in serious condition, while 2 other victims received non-life-threatening injuries. 3 other people suffered minor injuries while fleeing the scene. There are no suspects in custody at this time. News is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher sees a party in free fall.
Eric Swalwell now says that he wants a pledge from any 2028 Democrat presidential candidate that he or she will promise to demolish Trump's ballroom. I'm not making this up. Let's just stipulate that the Democrats are in a free fall right now.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors the sacrifices of America's heroes. Heroes like U.S. Army Specialist Andy Keith Kingsley. Andy was part of the 82nd Airborne Division. He received various awards and decorations, including a Purple Heart. While deployed, Andy was catastrophically injured in combat. Andy and his family received a mortgage-free smart home from Tunnel to Towers. But many more heroes like Andy need your support. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry. Terry! Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Sean Thompson here, and I'm with attorney Bert Hochberg from the law firm of Schiller, Ducanto, and Fleck. We're talking about divorce arbitration. This is not really a new, or is it a new, innovative way to go through divorce?
Arbitration has been around for decades. It's completely legit and available to resolve divorce cases. The litigants and their lawyers sign an arbitration agreement. They identify what the issues are, and we set up dates, and we determine what experts and witnesses there may be. Arbitration is a hearing, a trial that is intended to finish a case efficiently with limited appeal, with a binding decision, and it's confidential, so it has some great characteristics.
I think it's a unique alternative to divorce. For more information, please visit sdflaw.com and type Bert Hochberg into the search box. That's sdflaw.com or call direct 773-255-6150.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Already a bit slow on the Dan Ryan on the inbound side between 95th Street and the Chicago Skyway, all because of a collision right by the Skyway. So it's going to cost you 20 minutes to make your way towards the Burn Interchange. Outbound looks good at 11, and it's stop and go northbound on Lakeshore Drive as you make your way towards Hollywood Avenue. Now traveling on the Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, that is 20 minutes. Outbound is 16. The Eden looks good in both directions. From Lake Cook to Montrose, it's 14 minutes. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange is 19 minutes. Outbound, not too bad at 21. We are slow on the northbound Tri-State as you head towards the Eisenhower, and the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office is 15 minutes. Outbound, same thing, 15 minutes. Traffic is a service of Fox Valley Coins. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be mostly sunny with breezy conditions reaching a high of 53. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 35. Tomorrow will bring sunshine with some high clouds reaching a high of 56. Looking ahead to Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
AM
560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock in for Dan. Prof. Dan is back on Monday. I get to be with you today, Thursday, and Friday morning. You know, if it wasn't for the government shutdown, I would have led with, I've got so many great, rich stories about the Operation Midway Blitz, the stupidity and contradiction of so many leftists who continue to freak out and act like ICE is invading Chicago, that they are somehow foreign enemies that have come in and are kidnapping innocent people. And, of course, not saying anything about people being illegal, not saying anything about people being criminals, beyond being illegal, which it is a crime, and that's a misdemeanor, but nonetheless, you're a criminal. If you're an illegal, you're a criminal invader. But beyond that, having charges for domestic violence, domestic assault, guns, rape, murder, you name it. You know how this is. I got to tell you something else. It just, born and raised in Chicagoland all of my life until after graduating from college and then moving all over the country in my radio career, I am just amazed at the insanity and the sheer stupidity of people. Now, it's not just in Chicago. I mean, it's all over the country. But it is particularly, unbelievable how many stupid fools pretend and lie as if there literally are people being kidnapped off the street. And I got to tell you something else, too. And again, it's not just to Chicago, but it's all over the country. But these idiots, these leftists, particularly women with their rape whistles. Do you remember the leftists, the liberals on college campuses several years ago? They said, no, women cannot carry guns. Women cannot carry knives or guns to protect themselves from a rapist on campus. Here, we're going to give you a rape whistle so that when you're getting attacked, you can just blow a whistle. And these idiots, it is the funniest sound in the world, watching some chaos happen. And in the background, these Karens are all around, blowing their rape whistles at the ICE officers as if it's doing anything. It is the funniest freak. They make me laugh so hard, blowing their rape whistles at ICE. It's just so classic and funny. But I want to hit on some of the latest with everything that's been going on with Operation Midway Blitz, the people that are freaking out, lying, and acting like there's some kind of foreign hostile invader coming in and kidnapping people. One of the first things I want to talk about is a great article that I read a few weeks back. And it was talking about what the effect is on ICE and Operation Midway Blitz with apartments, with rental homes, and how the illegals, when they hear that ICE is in an area, they will not come. And so you have these apartments and rental homes all over the Chicagoland area that instead of it taking 1 week to get an air conditioner replaced, 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks, for a landlord that's trying to get their place ready for the next folks, instead of taking 2 weeks to get that air conditioner installed, it is 4 weeks. Because the illegals are afraid, because they are dodging ICE. You have plumbers that won't show up on a job because they hear ICE is in a neighborhood. And then second of all, you have illegals who are afraid to show up at their job because they're going to get taken away by ICE. So they sit in their homes, and then they can't afford to pay for their rent because they're too afraid to leave and go to work because of ICE. And so this has created a massive problem for landlords in Chicago. And I love the fact, because it's like what has happened is you've built a house on a sandy foundation, and it's been based on illegals. And so the system is going to be recorrected, maybe not fully, obviously, but it's going to be recorrected over a 4-year period. And landlords, because they're tenants, they're actually starting evictions because, of course, in Chicago, as we all know, there's insanity with giving quote-unquote rights to people who are not paying their bills, their rent, and it takes months and months to evict them. And so you have landlords who don't want to but have already started eviction notifications because their illegals are not paying their rent. So I love the fact, it's kind of like, I call it like an illegal tax. I love the fact that this whole economy based on a sandy foundation of a lie is now being forced to reconcile with all the illegals and an economy based on illegals, or at least partially. And so I think it's great that people are going to start evicting them. People are hiding. They're not having their jobs. They can't afford to pay their rent. I think that's great. Number one, we want to put the fear of God into the illegal because they are violating our laws. So that's a great story that I wanted to share with you. Now, agents, and I just want to share some of these other stories that are in local news. ICE agents in Northbrook point rifles at bystanders, try to break down a door. You've got a classic leftist in Chicago, in this case in Northbrook, at this apartment complex that has 90 apartments. There is an illegal that ICE is trying to get. They did try to apprehend him prior to this, but he was in a car and he evaded the ICE officers, and he was speeding up to 100 miles per hour. So they peeled off the chase. They said, okay, this is too dangerous. Somebody's going to get hit and killed. That's what this illegal was doing. Now, also, we find out in this article from the Chicago Tribune that this illegal has previous arrests and convictions for domestic battery, disorderly conduct, battery causing bodily injury, aggravated battery against a pregnant woman, felony strangulation, and unlawful use of a firearm. So this is a thug's thug, beating, according to the authorities in the charges, pregnant women. And here you have ICE doing a raid on this guy. He runs up to the apartment, locks himself in there. They got a battering ram, all sorts of stuff. And you have this guy they're interviewing in the Tribune, and he says ICE basically held 90 apartments hostage while they were trying to get one man. And then the Tribune asked him, well, isn't he dangerous? The guy says, well, he's never pointed guns at us. In other words, we would rather keep this illegal who's been arrested and convicted for battery, beating a pregnant woman, felony strangulation, unlawful use of a firearm. We want him to stay in the apartment complex because ICE is so mean and bad. We want this guy to keep beating pregnant women and strangling women. Keep him here and with unlawfully owning a firearm. Let him stay here because ICE bad. Bring us the pregnant women beaters. Let them live among us. Now, I'm going to also flip it to you. He says, well, they basically held 90 apartments hostage while they're trying to get one man. If you have a citizen, a U.S. citizen, who is wanted for all the things I just listed, all these crimes, yes, they're going to do the same thing. In this case, it would be Northbrook Police Department. Yes, they're going to or MEPS, some of these different outlets we have, law enforcement outlets that do multi-strike forces across the Chicagoland area. But, yes, they're going to go into an apartment complex and shut things down and go in there and do a battering ram and get this guy and drag him out because he's wanted for several severe crimes. But if he's illegal, the guy says, I want to keep him here. Then you have this quite possibly will be my favorite story. This is a great one from the Sun-Times. This is great. Masked ICE agents put damper on Oak Park Girl Scout food drive. It's heartbreaking as a mom. Yes, ICE is ruining the Girl Scout food drive. How dare you? Meanwhile, Democrats have shut the government down and people are starving and dumpster diving because they don't have food stamps. But that's different. I love this because you have two different parents who have Girl Scouts and they're doing a food drive where they go door to door every year. But they come upon a scene where ICE is arresting some illegals. and it ruins the Girl Scout food drive. ICE ruined a Girl Scout food drive at Oak Park. The Scouts initially decided to continue with their food drive, so they came upon a crowd. They're going door to door trying to get, food drive money, food for of their drive. They come across a crowd surrounding federal agents and their vehicles blowing their rape whistles. So you have an enforcement action from ICE. They're arresting people, illegals, and then you have all these Karens and leftists coming around blowing rape whistles to help. And so these Girl Scouts and their parents are there. What do? Do you go away from it and just stay away from it? No, you keep going towards it. They explained the girls that just like a lifeguard blows a whistle, they told their Girl Scouts when they came upon the scene, just like a lifeguard blows a whistle to help somebody, these are neighbors that are blowing whistles to help somebody. These poor, innocent illegals. So can you imagine you're taking you're taking your daughter, door to door for a food drive for Girl Scouts, and then you see this thing there, and you go towards the crime scene where people are blowing rape whistles for illegals that are getting cuffed and stuffed, and you look at that and you show your daughter, see that? These are people trying to help their neighbors, and the big bad ICE is here. I love how, where does the Sun-Times come up with this stuff? This is so funny. Where do they find these people? And the mom says, the mother of the Girl Scouts say, it's heartbreaking as a mom. So in other words, if that guy in there that they're cuffing and stuffing, that you decided to go towards the scene with your daughters, you point to them, that guy could be a rapist, and it's just heartbreaking to see a rapist taken into custody. You have a dad that's also with these Girl Scouts. He's 39. He's an Oak Park parent of 3 Girl Scouts. And he says the Scouts are unable to help their neighbors because of those masked men in the community. We can't get food for the needy because ICE is here. His daughters did not encounter federal agents. We put our kids in these programs to learn to care for others and think about people other than themselves. ICE agents are not welcome in our neighborhood. We did not ask for this. It's frankly putting us and our kids in danger. Yes, you're removing illegals who, many of whom commit violent crimes. Cuffing them and stuffing them and getting them out of the neighborhood is putting our kids in danger. It's just amazing, these mental midgets. The mother of the Girl Scout, said in her neighborhood and across Chicago, it's been a challenge to have conversations with her children and explain why masked and armed agents are in their community. Mommy, why is it ICE masked agent in my community? It's a challenge to have a conversation about this. Well, so basically they're teaching their kids that federal officers are bad. This mother says it upsets me because we try to reach out to teach our kids to do good, and they see others doing things that might be harmful. So yes, Karen, raise your children to hate the federal police officers. That's just so funny. So Big Bad ICE is stopping Girl Scouts from going door to door to get food. I love that one. Then you have this illegal, also in the Sun-Times. She wrote a column, and it's entitled, "He Worked Hard to Give Me a Home. ICE Took His. How I Lost My Father to Deportation." She says, I'm in my first semester at graduate school at Northwestern University. My dad's been here as an illegal for nearly 30 years, and one day he gets scooped up and deported. And then she talks about how her father worked. She says, many of us grow up watching our fathers, many of us illegals, I guess, grow up watching our fathers come home in dirty clothes. Sometimes we see them for a few hours at night before going to bed. You know what this made me think about? This made me think about some Chicagoland police officers that I know and how they work, particularly also not just Chicagoland, particularly Chicago, but also suburban cops that I know and that we all know some. And they work overtime a lot. And you know what? They get dirty at their jobs. They got to wear compression socks because they're standing up so much. They're in their uniforms. They sweat. They get attacked, stuff thrown at them, mistreated, and they're hardworking. But don't focus on all the folks, the citizens in Chicagoland that work their butts off, that get dirty, get filthy, that put themselves on the line to protect and serve us. No. Care about the illegal. That's it. I want to get into this, too. We have fascinating column. This is pretty interesting to me. The Chicago Contrarian wrote a column that is very similar to what Victor Davis Hanson wrote the day before, or right around the exact same time. And what is that? That is this. Chicago Contrarian headline says, Chicago declares war on the federal government. The shots that rang out last week, in the Little Village shooting, an illegal thug in possession of a firearm, according to the authorities, a Mexican illegal, reportedly allegedly shooting two shots at ICE officers doing their job. The illegal lovers, I should say, the leftists, blowing their rape whistles or whatever, came out and threw paint cans at the cops. I'm sorry, federal officers, and they threw bricks at ICE agents. And this guy pulls up and shoots at him, and two spent casings found on the ground. Chicago Contrarian writes this. Chicago declares war on the federal government. The shots that rang out last week resemble those fired on Fort Sumter, which started the Civil War. Now, before I get into that one, I want to share this from Victor Davis Hanson in the Daily Signal, just a day or two beforehand. America fought a civil war so Trump could enforce the federal law. So what's happening here is you literally have the local governments. You got like Nancy Pelosi saying that San Francisco authorities should be arresting ICE agents, local authorities. You've had Pritzker and others also say stuff like this, or Brandon Johnson. So here's what Victor Davis Hanson says. J.B. Pritzker on numerous occasions has characterized these federal officers as Gestapo and Nazis. In 1861, the state of South Carolina tried to appropriate Fort Sumter and fired on it. The next thing that happens, 700,000 deaths. We know in 1961 through 1963, Southern governors in Mississippi, Arkansas, and Alabama said federal law does not apply here, just like Pritzker says and Johnson, just like Nancy Pelosi says in San Francisco, and on and on and on. Southern governors refused to comply. Eisenhower and, of course, the later Kennedy administration, sent in federal officers and troops to enforce the law. And there you had state and local officials refusing to integrate schools. So should they have arrested the federal government when they came in to make sure integration happened? That's the same thing that's going on today. So envision, he writes, Victor Davis Hanson writes, a local officer with a gun or a shotgun, body armor, coming up to a federal officer with a gun and body armor and a shotgun saying, we're arresting you because you have broken San Francisco statutes. It is a lot like the Civil War, isn't it? If you impede me, you are breaking federal law. Two armed officers, one from California, one from the federal government. What, shooting it out? Like the Civil War? Well, we all know that the federal government has a supremacy clause, so they cannot be stopped. So this is it. And then you go to Chicago Contrarian saying this. Chicago declares war on the federal government. The shots that rang out last week resemble those fired on Fort Sumter, which started the Civil War. When city leaders wink at lawlessness and when newspapers sanctify defiance, blood is the next headline. They become propagandists, talking about the local press. Much like the newspapers of the South in the years before the Civil War, stirring emotion, arousing grievance, and normalizing. Isn't that interesting to literally look at it and say, wait a minute, they're just like the South was before the Civil War. The press is reporting how evil and vile the federal government is enforcing federal law. Local people, local officials are attacking ICE, saying they're invaders and they don't belong. Isn't that amazing? It is so similar, isn't it? They present Chicago, the Contrarian says, as a city united in moral defiance of Washington. To them, the federal agents are the invaders. Activists are the patriot. The mayor is a folk hero. Well, they ask, why are the raids happening in the first place? You might have somebody that's wanted for rape, murder, beating, wife beating, pregnant woman beating. Those of us, the contrarian rights, who are left living behind enemy lines in a city that treats the federal government as a foreign power. Isn't that interesting? Very, very interesting. Now, coming up next, I want to share more with you. We have a brand new survey that was done, and this is being reported by WirePoints on the illegals and the support people have for the illegals. Oh, gosh, and you're going to hear a great one. A Karen who was following ICE in Portland, Oregon, and trying to obfuscate and block them. What happens when she gets confronted by the federal authorities and they pull her over? That is coming up next. So much more. Our phone lines are wide open at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. It's Chris Kroc in for Dan Proft on AM 560, Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No. Nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
If you're looking to refinance a home after a divorce, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Today, meet Lori, 50, social worker, score 650, income 90 G's a year. Call to refinance her mentally abusive ex-husband off the mortgage and title of their marital home per the divorce decree. Team Hochberg loan officer Anna Webdell helped Lori remove her ex-husband from the mortgage and title of the home, pay off debt totaling over $60,000, which included her attorney's fees, and saved her over $1,000 a month. Let's review. Team Hochberg loan officer Anna Webdell helped Lori remove her mentally abusive ex-husband from the mortgage and deed of the marital home, pay off all her debt, attorney's bills, and saved her over $1,000 a month. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing letter, NMLS 1124061.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning. It is 38 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Airlines have canceled more than 9,000 flights across the U.S. since the Federal Aviation Administration ordered flight cuts last week to ease demand on control towers, which are short-staffed during this government shutdown. Now, although the government appears to be set to reopen in the coming days, airport disruptions, flight cancellations, and economic losses won't disappear right away. Airline hubs such as O'Hare are still seeing the bulk of the cancellations. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was at O'Hare yesterday, where he warned of more delays and cancellations unless the government shutdown ends quickly. The House may vote on that spending bill as early as this afternoon. Yesterday's Veterans Day rally turned into an anti-Trump protest. Participants gathered to speak out against the actions of Immigration Enforcement and Border Patrol agents here in Chicago. Organizers say this was the first time in several years that the annual rally turned into a political march. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Well, think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I give up. Where are they?
Who?
Employees.
What?
You say Hassleus Mattress Showrooms don't have any employees. Come on, bud. I know better.
I assure you.
Are they cooped up in a secret back room?
Huh?
Or waiting outside in the bushes?
Sir.
I know. They're hiding under the beds, aren't they?
Listen, Hassleus Mattress Showrooms really are employee-free. Give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Nope, don't believe it.
You won't believe our prices either. Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more for way less.
Right.
Others sell a King Aspen Cove A for $2,520, but our everyday low Hassleus price is just $1,374. Free next day delivery too.
Sure. Next you'll say I can get a free adjustable base with my purchase through Monday.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Oh, come on!
Save on Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest, plus get a free adjustable base. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are high interest payments becoming too much to bear? Luckily, there's a way for consumers struggling with over $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans to significantly reduce the amount they owe if they qualify. Qualifying for this debt relief program, which the credit card companies prefer to keep secret, will only require you to pay back a fraction of what you owe with one affordable monthly payment. You don't have to file bankruptcy or need a debt consolidation loan. Consumers can now take advantage of this financial debt relief during the current economic downturn and rising inflation. If you owe $10,000 or even $500,000 in credit card debt or personal loans, call the Debt Relief Advocates Helpline now for this free information and to see if you qualify. Call 800-466-4131. 800-466-4131. Again, that's 800-466-4131.
Get 2 mattresses for the price of 1.
Whoa, what are you doing?
We don't do sales at Penny Mustard.
I know, Nicole.
So how can we offer 2 mattresses for the price of 1?
Because it's only 1 mattress.
You're not making sense, Ben. Have you been painting in confined spaces again?
Arvid, I'm talking about Penny Mustard's 2-sided mattresses.
Oh, I see. When you have a flippable 2-sided foam or coil spring mattress,
it's like having 2 mattresses for the price of 1.
You'll give each side more time to breathe.
And your mattress will last twice as long.
You use both sides of your pillow, and you should be able to use both sides of your mattress, too.
I don't use a pillow.
What do you use?
A cement block.
Really?
I find it relaxing after a long day of painting in confined spaces.
2-sided mattresses, because 2 is better than 1. Available every day at Penny Mustard Furnishings.
7 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Do the holiday parties, tailgating, and family get-togethers have your liver working overtime? Let Active Liver help give your liver some relief at Amazon or VitaCost.com, CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Watch out for a crash on the inbound side of the Bishop Ford right at Stony Island Feeder. The left lane is blocked, and we're slow on the inbound side of the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange, 27 minutes, although an accident has just been cleared at the Chicago Skyway. Outbound looks good at 11. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne Interchange is 19 minutes. Outbound is 22. The Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office is 19 minutes. Outbound is 16. 15, and the Stevenson is 23 minutes inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore. Outbound is 16. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. What if they can guarantee the price of Bitcoin will be $1 million in 2030? Well, they can't, but they can guarantee you'll save a lot of money at blinds at their company. Blindster.com. Free samples, free shipping, and guaranteed to fit. Shop at Blindster.com today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be mostly sunny with the breeze reaching a high of 53. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 35. Tomorrow expect sun with areas of high clouds and a high of 56. By Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock for Dan Proft. You know, it's interesting that I was talking about these two different columns that were saying the same thing. Victor Davis Hanson writing the other day, America fought a civil war so Trump could enforce federal law, talking about firing on Fort Sumter in South Carolina, starting the Civil War, and comparing that to the threat from Pritzker, Brandon Johnson, Nancy Pelosi regarding San Francisco, saying that local authorities should be arrested, the cops should be arresting the federal agents as they do their jobs. They are literally calling and also talking about in the South when Kennedy and Eisenhower sent in the National Guard to force reintegration, not reintegration, but to force integration in schools, and how the southern states, Mississippi, Alabama, etc., refused to integrate and were defying the federal government. And so you literally have the exact same thing happening now in Chicago, in Illinois, refusing to work with the federal government, enforcing federal law. And then as I sit here, a couple things to add to this. Number one, you heard Stace Keene in the news just a few minutes ago talk about this veterans rally. Now, she said it turned into an attack on ICE. But really, the premise for the thing was actually to attack ICE. And you had veterans who were supporting the illegals. You had veterans literally saying, I fought for illegals. I served my country. The day after Veterans Day, this is, of course, yesterday, Veterans Day, they're marching downtown and they're saying, I served my country. I fought in a war so that illegals could stay here. Isn't that amazing? Why did you sign up and serve your country? Thank you for serving. No problem. I signed up and I served so that I could support illegals. What? So you're serving illegals. This is a little bit of audio from yesterday's rally. Hold on.
As service members, we swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's right. That oath still matters and requires all of our courage to defend it.
So we're defending enemies, foreign and domestic. So there, you literally have, at this veterans rally yesterday, saying that the Trump administration is a domestic enemy, and that we served our country, we fought, and we signed up to serve our country in the military so that illegals can stay here and to fight off. Serving your country means fighting the federal authorities, enforcing federal law. Quite amazing, isn't it? The crazed leftist illegal lover, U.S. Rep. Delia Ramirez, saying how, quote, how interconnected our struggles are, illegals and service members, calling the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, calling it the Department of Terror. Pritzker also said at a rally yesterday in Little Village, Veterans Day and other stuff, he said that ICE is terrorizing our neighbors and tear gassing innocent civilians, including children. So in other words, it is our duty in Chicago to attack ICE. They are the Department of Terror. They are terrorizing our neighbors and tear gassing them and children. So, and the veterans support this, saying, attack, attack, attack. I served so that I could attack the federal government. This really, really is like the Civil War, isn't it? Remarkable to think about. And then you have a poll that is reported from WirePoints recently, and 3 Strategies did this survey. They surveyed almost 500 likely Democrat primary election voters in Illinois. 42% of Democrat primary voters say violence is sometimes or mostly acceptable to stop ICE. 39% state it's appropriate to physically pull ICE officers away while they're trying to handcuff somebody. So violence on officers. You have the governor, you have the mayor, you have supposedly veterans, all saying the same thing. ICE, DHS are criminal invaders. Fight them. It does sound like a civil war, doesn't it? 81% of Democrat primary voters say that Trump and many of his supporters are like Nazis. 81%. Vast majority, 71%, support Governor Pritzker doing, quote, whatever it takes to keep ICE and other federal law enforcement out of Illinois and to stop the feds from picking up and deporting illegals from Illinois. We want these illegals, even if they're rapists or wife beaters, we want them. Keep them here. Sure, they might rape my wife or beat me or rob me or kill me. I want them here, though. The enemy is DHS, and violence against them is okay. 71% of Democrat primary voters want ICE officers to be prosecuted when Democrats take back control of the federal government. I mean, my gosh, the more and more you see all this, the more and more these columnists, and again, it really is very compelling to me and fascinating to me and amazing to me that both the Chicago Contrarian and Victor Davis Hanson separately wrote the same thing. Obviously, there's not coordination going on between those two. And in fact, when I saw this article in the Chicago Contrarian getting ready for this morning's show, I literally thought, did they, because you know how a columnist like Victor Davis Hanson might appear in USA Today, and that's probably a snowball's chance in hell of being in USA Today, but you know what I'm saying? The same column could appear in a couple different publications. So I literally thought, did they publish Victor Davis Hanson's column? And I go, oh my gosh, no. They're both in separate columns, not coordinated, saying the same thing. This is exactly like the Civil War. The media, just picture the Southern media at the time before the Civil War and vilifying how horrible the Union was. So the media was in the tank to vilify the Union and being against them. It's just remarkable. It really is remarkable. And violence against the other side was absolutely okay. And you have veterans saying, I fought and served so that illegals could be here. It's amazing, isn't it? Quite amazing. Couple lines are open, several lines open, I should say. 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Oh, let's talk to David. You are in Winnetka. You're on AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crocken for Dan Proft. Hey.
Chris, hey, good morning. Great to hear your voice.
Thank you.
It's only been a couple of times since I've heard you, but you're growing on me, and I love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
A couple of things. So I go back and forth with Dan about free speech and what should be allowed to be said and not said when, you're somebody like the press or somebody that has influence, because we're dealing with people that are unhinged and they don't think with, proper way. Dan claims that, his stance is that, well, nowadays you become one of them if you're taking away free speech or, this or that. But I don't agree at all. I think it's really got to be reined in so you don't have things like this.
It's like, how do you do that, though? Because I think I might lean much more towards what Dan says, but there's a certain, if you're inciting violence, that's a crime. If you're inciting violence, and so it just depends on what's being said and how it's being said. But it literally, sitting in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and seeing this go on in Chicagoland is just remarkable to me. I just sit here and go, oh my gosh. And then I wonder to myself, I wonder, do these people, are they, like, does Pritzker really think this, or does he just do it because it's all for political gain? Does he really want harm to come to these ICE agents? Is he that freaking far gone? How could so many people seemingly be so radically against enforcing federal law and support violence and sit there and make it their duty in their life to go around and chase after federal agents and not give a frog's fat, you know what, who they're taking into custody? It could be a rapist that raped their neighbor, and they don't care. They want these people. It's insane to me. And the only thing I can hope, as I'm saying this to you, is to hope that while we see the most crazed people in the media making the media, that this cannot be the amount of people that actually cannot be the majority of people that think this way. I mean, you see this poll about Democrats, and 70-80% with these hostile things. It's just crazy to me. It really is. And I know we got, you and I know, we all know we got loons like this all over the country. It's not exclusive to Chicago. So I'm not trying to say that either, because, we'll see insanity out of Portland, out of Los Angeles. I mean, it's all over the country, but this is crazy, brother.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Appreciate your call, man. Thank you very much. Let's go to Maurice in Berwyn. You on AM 560. The Answer. Chris in for Dan. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, let me prefix this by telling you I have an associate's in criminal justice and BA in law enforcement. So, and why this is not kind of comparison, there's no comparison to the Civil War. So, one, I'm all for immigration law enforcement. A lot of this is what you see simply the enforcement of the law could be done way more effectively. Right? The Civil War was simply saying that someone like me had more rights than an iPhone, right? A lot of things you see could be done far more effectively.
One second. You said more rights. Yeah. You said more rights than an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, but the Civil War was over the fact that black people were being treated like an iPhone. Right? It was the
you mean like property? You mean like property? Yeah,
right, correct.
But let me say this though. In this case, it is exactly the same when you have people that are people. I mean, at least the Southern integration that the Southern states refuse to apply. It is exactly like that when you have the federal government saying we're enforcing federal law, and you're bucking it, and we're going to force you because we have supremacy in that. When you look at the Civil War, it's exactly the same when you have people literally. You have the press vilifying the other side, and you have people firing upon and going after and attacking the other side. And one side is lawful and right, which of course is the Union, and the other side is illegal and wrong.
But part of the issue you guys face is one, the lack of due process. I think I would take every single one of these dudes and have court and do it in open court so people can see it. Two, a lot of these companies need to be fined. I did one of my many jobs, because I have 3 degrees, because I didn't have a social life. I did human resources. I did I-9 audits. Take these companies to court. I have no idea why some of these companies are not being fined.
Okay.
Two, I will publicize all these people. Wait, give me 1 second. Publicize all these people and do it in open court. If it's just, make it just. Hey, yes, we're taking these people in, and here's a public record of it. I hear Dan complaining about the same thing about DHS. You got being just and being transparent will make your guys' lives so much easier. 3, make it equal across the board. And so you're not just showing, I'm doing air quotes, all the brown people, make it European people too. And then all of a sudden people are saying, it's just not all brown.
You're saying that a lack of due process, and we'll get to the brown thing coming up next, but the lack of due process.
Lack of transparency.
No, you said due process. You said lack of due process. That's literally what you said. So how are illegals not getting due process here?
I personally, this is just my viewpoint as someone who, has, interest in court settings, I would run people to court and televise it.
No, you're not answering my question. You claim there's lack of due process. How specifically are illegals not getting due process?
As an immigration court, I don't know if all these people are going through immigration court or just simply being shipped out. Maybe
so
some
you don't
are,
even
some
know.
not.
You don't even know. You just said there's a lack of due process, but you cannot cite a specific instance where somebody didn't get due process.
From what's been reported, some of these guys are not getting due process.
Okay, so you don't even know. All right, I got it. You don't even know. You don't have any specifics on that. So the next thing is brown. You say brown and white and stuff like that. Well, they just there's two examples just off the top of my head. One is the illegal police officer from Hanover Park is a white guy from Europe. And he was just released on his own on recognizance for a couple grand. But that cop is a white European illegal. He was cuffed and stuffed. We also have this one just yesterday. ICE arrests Moldovan illegal immigrant. This is a white lady from Moldova, and she is an illegal and convicted killer in Moldova who tortured and threw out a victim out of a 9th floor window. We also have 65 Irish illegals that were rounded up and deported recently as well. So I think you need to realize, you need to kind of broaden your horizons on where you're getting your information from as far as who's being deported and when, because they're deporting Chinese illegals, they're deporting European illegals. All sorts. And so if you want to focus on the brown people, the black people, you can, but illegals are illegal.
I'm fully on your guys' side. I'm I'm on your guys' side. I'm simply saying if the more transparency you give people, the better off you would be. I'm a law-abiding person. I think if I will bring near televise it.
So you want to have like live federal court with a camera on it?
Absolutely.
Do you know? I'm not aware of. You say you're a criminal justice type expert. I'm not aware of any federal court that allows and legally can televise things. There's a reason why you have those court sketch reporters for federal courts, because you cannot have cameras in them.
I'm not. Nor do I claim to be an expert.
I got to roll, brother. But there's a reason why you can't do that. So you're calling for something that is not done for legal reasons, apparently. That's why they have sketch artists. All right, we've got so much more. We've got Bob, Lee, Ralph, your call as well on AM 560 The Answer. This is Chris Crock and for Dan Proft on Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560 The Answer.
Our veterans are our heroes. They answered the call to defend our freedom, putting their lives on the line for our nation. But today, thousands of those brave men and women are facing something no hero should ever face: food insecurity. That's where Farm to Veteran comes in. Through the Fulcrum Farm Foundation, this remarkable organization delivers farm fresh, nutritious food directly to veterans in need through veteran services and organizations. From greenhouse-grown produce to eggs, they're ensuring our heroes have access to the high-quality food they deserve. But Farm to Veteran can't do it alone. They need our help. Your financial contribution directly supports their mission to feed more veterans across their growing network of partner farms nationwide. And there's another way you can make a difference. Join them at their upcoming community events. Visit farmtoveteran.com today. That's veteran.com to donate or learn about events near you. Because those who served our country shouldn't have to wonder where their next meal is coming from. Let's stand with those who stood for us. That's veteran.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank that cares about your business and is invested in your success. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Chris Johnson, CEO of Classic Cinemas and proud customer of Signature Bank. We are a local family-owned business that is known for free refills on all sizes of popcorn, soft drinks, and ices. With over 9,000 heated recliners in 16 locations, we marry the traditions of the past with today's state-of-the-art technology. Throw in a 30-minute guarantee and an after-movie mint, and you have the perfect night out. As we strive to make every guest our priority, Signature Bank does the same with their customers. The team at Signature Bank is interested in taking my company forward. They have all the resources and solutions of the big banks, but they customize their offerings to meet my business needs. The customer always comes first with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Too often, cremated remains are kept at home, then forgotten.
At Queen of Heaven Cemetery in Hillside, we have your cremation options. Come visit our new cremation garden, see our beautiful granite columbariums, or view our elegant indoor glass front niches. These offer sacred, lasting ways to honor your loved one. If cremation is your choice, our memorialization is a forever option. Give them the dignity of a permanent resting place where they'll be remembered for generations. Visit us today, CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org.
Did you know a will alone does not keep your family out of court when you die? The court still has to approve your will, but get a living trust, and your estate can be settled clearly without issue. Talk to the attorneys at Nauman & Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee, no surprises, no hourly rate. With decades of experience, they know the law and offer a free consultation. Contact Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village, nalawgroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
When we lose a pet, we lose a member of the family. The house feels quieter, the leash hangs by the door, and our hearts ache for that unconditional love. At Cozy Acres Pet Cemetery and Crematory, they understand that feeling because they're pet owners too. Since 1981, family-owned Cozy Acres has helped other families say goodbye with dignity, respect, and compassion. Whether you choose burial or cremation, your pet is handled gently with the same care you gave them every day of their life. They'll guide you through every step of this difficult time so you can have peace of mind knowing your beloved companion is in good hands. Cozy Acres Pet Cemetery, a final act of love for your faithful friend. Cozy Acres is proudly family-owned, proudly American, and proud to support the values we all share on AM 560 The Answer. Visit cozyacres.co, that's cozy with a K, acres.co, or call 815-723-9588.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
The shutdown is almost over. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're going to reopen the government.
That's Congressman Tom Emmer, part of the House Republican leadership, after a Rules Committee vote early this morning set up a final vote later today, and he tells Fox the GOP is united.
We may lose one. We may get everybody. I mean, it's the right thing to do is reopen the government.
But Democrats oppose this bill that provides funding through January 30th.
Furious with the decision by some of their Senate colleagues to push for the reopening because they are still not getting that guarantee on refunding Obamacare subsidies.
Now, those expire at the end of the year, driving up the cost of health coverage for millions of Americans.
Now, that won't be included in this deal, but the deal on the table includes funding SNAP benefits for almost a year, as well as funding military construction and getting those government workers their paychecks.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Reopening the government will end the legal battle over SNAP food assistance, providing full funding through next September. Some Americans who rely on it haven't been getting all those benefits this month. Until the shutdown ends, travel will remain a challenge. There are nearly 1,300 more flights canceled or delayed today amid air traffic controller shortages. Some of them weren't going to work. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is questioning their commitment to the job and patriotism.
They'll be paid within 24 to 48 hours of the government opening.
As a U.S. aircraft carrier moves into place off the South American coast to join the ongoing military operation blowing up boats suspected of smuggling illegal drugs, there's pushback from a key U.S. ally.
Fox News understands from well-placed sources that the United Kingdom has suspended sharing some intelligence with the U.S. The British government, concerned about the legality of attacks on boats believed to be trafficking drugs from South America. Neither the UK nor U.S. governments comment openly on intelligence. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro has publicly ordered his nation's security forces to stop sharing intelligence with the United States.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The U.S. strikes have killed 76 suspected illegal drug traffickers. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 37 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A curfew on anti-ICE protests in Broadview is facing a legal challenge. Fox 32 Chicago's Leslie Marino has the story.
Attorney and community activist Robert Held filed a lawsuit in federal court asking a judge to stop Broadview from enforcing its so-called protest curfew. The order limits when people can gather outside the ICE detention center site here in Broadview. Held says it also violates the First Amendment. He argues most ICE activity happens early in the morning morning and late at night when the curfew bans protests. Held's attorney says the village is blaming safety concerns, but argues restricting free speech isn't the answer.
A hearing is scheduled for November 24th. Protests have continued for months outside the ICE facility after the federal government ramped up immigration efforts here in our state. Cook County officials say the second installment of property tax bills for tax year 2024 are expected to be mailed to property owners by Friday with a due date of December 15th. Bills are mailed to owners twice a year in 2 installments. Cook County tax system officials have blamed this year's delay on an overhaul of the system's, quote, technological backbone. 3 people were shot, 3 others injured following an attempted robbery at a Jewel Osco store in the Bronzeville neighborhood yesterday. According to reports, 2 people were confronted as they tried to leave with some merchandise. One victim was hospitalized with multiple gunshot wounds. Others received non-life-threatening injuries. 3 other people suffered injuries while they fled the scene. There's no suspects in custody at this time. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again, not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Scott Jennings explains the differences between right and left.
It has been maddening to me to see the Democratic Party, the liberal movement, the radical progressives, turn on Israel over the last couple of years. What distinguishes us from the radical left? The ability to tell the difference between right and wrong.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors the sacrifices of America's heroes. Heroes like U.S. Army Specialist Andy Keith Kingsley. Andy was part of the 82nd Airborne Division. He received various awards and decorations, including a Purple Heart. While deployed, Andy was catastrophically injured in combat. Andy and his family received a mortgage-free smart home from Tunnel to Towers. But many more heroes like Andy need your support. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry!
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Let me take a moment to talk about my friends at QC Kinetics. They're helping so many listeners regain their mobility free from joint pain. Does this sound like you? Where every time you move, it's a reminder of what hurts? A reminder of how far you've drifted from the life you once had? Well, relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from surgery. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli and her team tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain at its source. Stop masking the pain. Let QC Kinetics help you regain what pain took away. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment. And for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. It's a great time to book your free consultation to learn how QC Kinetics can help. Call 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. Once more, that phone number, 312-827-6261. And tell them I sent you when you call.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Still looking good on the Eden both ways from Lake Hook to Montrose, just 15 minutes in both directions. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burton Interchange is getting very slow now, 30 minutes. Outbound is 34. The Reagan Memorial slows down between Cermak Road and the Tri-State, and then you have delays on the northbound Tri-State, and that is as you approach the outbound Eisenhower. The Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office is 31 minutes. Outbound is 22. Inbound Stevenson, very slow now from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 36 minutes. Outbound is 23. The Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange inbound is 24. Outbound looks good at 11. And stop and go delays northbound on Lakeshore Drive as you head towards Hollywood Avenue. Traffic is a service of Quick Delivery Service. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be mostly sunny with a breeze reaching a high of 53. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 35. 55. Tomorrow, expect sun with areas of high clouds and a high of 56. By Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc filling in for Dan Proft today, Thursday, Friday. Dan's back on Monday. So, we're continuing on with the discussion about the federal government going in and enforcing federal law with ICE, DHS, and people literally attacking and going after our federal officers for enforcing federal law, the Supremacy Clause. How back in the Civil Rights era, you had governors refusing to integrate their schools. And so then you had President Eisenhower, you had President Kennedy send in troops to enforce federal law. Also, two separate columns, one in the Contrarian and Victor Davis Hanson separately writing the same thing about the Civil War, and that we are literally seeing that happen when we have local authorities and officials in Illinois and in Chicago refusing to comply, and in fact even threatening or vowing to go after and arrest ICE officers for doing their duty, or DHS officials for doing their duty. Very similar. So before we take your calls, I wanted to talk to Chief Wetzel, retired Riverside police chief, who I love when we get Chief Wetzel to come on the show, and here he is. Chief Wetzel, thanks for joining us again on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Chris, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you think about that concept? That with what we see local officials threatening to have Chicago police or whoever it be threatened to, not the officials themselves or the police officials, but are Brandon Johnson, Pritzker, talking about going after ICE, prosecuting ICE, and such like that. What do you think about looking at that compared to whether it be the Civil War or civil rights being enforced by the federal government sending in troops?
Well, that going after ICE from the local perspective, so say Illinois wanted to go after them or Chicago, that's not going to happen. It may happen that they do a publicity stunt on that, but they have no authority to, cross that jurisdictional line between local authority and federal authority. And yes, the federal government has been in Chicago and nationwide and been used in other outrage type of things. Here's a really clear example. They used them in the DNC in Chicago, right? And everybody loved it, right? They were here, and the CPD officers I know, the Chicago police officers I know, told me that surrounding the United Center for miles, it was the safest it's ever been, period. So, they sunk money in, they sunk federal, there were troops there in addition to, there were federal National Guards at the DNC, and it was okay to do that, right? But it's not okay to reduce violent street crime in Chicago.
Exactly right. Absolutely correct. I wanted to also ask you about this, too. You tweeted this out. The government and mayor's anti-ICE rhetoric is endangering CPD officers. Their words fuel chaos, leading to injury. We had a Chicago cop at the Little Village shooting that we just had several days ago. Cop hit by a car. Chicago PD hit by a car in Little Village with that. And I just can't believe some of the stuff, the rhetoric I'm seeing out of the mayor, out of our governor, etc. Tell me about that.
Yeah, not only is it affecting the federal agents, right? They've had federal agents shot at, federal agents hurt. Now, for those individuals that think it doesn't affect local law enforcement, well, when Chicago is called to assist with crowd control, they have now had officers seriously injured, as you just mentioned, in the car crash. And let's be clear, look at the rhetoric both the governor and mayor are using. They're using terms like ICE is snatching people off the streets. They're kidnapping people off the streets. I mean, that type of rhetoric fuels lawlessness and it fuels attacks on police. And they don't care. These individuals going after ICE, they don't care if you're a local Chicago police officer, if you're a suburban cop, if you're a federal agent. They just look at you as an arm of the government, and they're just going after you, physically attacking you.
That's what's interesting to me, too, because these officials are, Mayor Johnson, Governor Pritzker, encouraging people to attack ICE by saying that they're terrorists, they're terrorizing, etc. You would think that somebody would be willing to attack and or harass a federal officer would really not be delineating between a local police officer and a federal officer, because if it's okay to go after a federal officer, why wouldn't it be okay to go after a local officer?
For sure. You could see the videos out there of the little village that you just talked about.
Yeah.
You could see when Chicago was called to assist with crowd control, they were angrily attacking the Chicago police, both verbally assaulting and then in some cases physically attacking them to try to get at the federal agents behind them. But that's all for, there's a purpose to that. They want the news media to cover it. They want it to be anti-government, anti-ICE, for sure. But now, these individuals, these local police officers in Chicago, who you're paying your taxes to protect you, you're going to be outright attacking them? Come on.
Chief, it's disgusting to me to see you have, like Pritzker and Johnson. It's disgusting to see them not say anything ever. I've not heard anything ever from them criticizing the people who are attacking ICE or DHS, or in the context of attacking ICE or DHS, and then when Chicago PD or other local police departments show up to help enforce the law and protect the community and, from themselves perhaps. I've never heard Johnson or Pritzker attack people who are throwing paint cans, throwing bricks, and attacking federal law enforcement or even maybe local law enforcement in the same instance. Have you ever heard them denounce any of that or call out to people for their rhetoric and their violence and their attacks?
Never. It's not politically in their agenda to do that. And think about that. These are the governor. Those are his officers in his state. The mayor, these are his officers. The aldermen, they all live in Chicago. These officers are your neighbors, your churchgoers with you, your baseball coaches, your football coaches. These are the officers that you employ. And the mayor of Chicago, Johnson, and the governor, they say nothing against these individuals and groups that are attacking law enforcement. And believe me, they're well organized.
So I wonder how bad would it have to get before they finally say something? To me, this is leading somewhere, and it's leading somewhere bad. And I mean, I just wonder at what point will they maybe say something? And I would think that even if it goes to the worst places where we lose a law enforcement officer's life, God forbid, that even then they would still somehow blame ICE and the federal government. That's what I think.
They will blame ICE and the federal government, and you're right. Well, there's already been those police officers injured in that crash the other day. Yes. They were seriously injured. So we've had police officers, Chicago police officers, seriously injured on these protests, which I call riots against ICE agents. But unfortunately, Chris, if we see a police officer shot or killed by this, that is what's going to change. And does it need to take that? Of course not. But in Chicago, that's what it's going to take. But I'll tell you, you're going to see mass exodus from Chicago Police Department. You're going to see people not wanting, highly motivated to do the work. All they're going to do, Chris, is show up and put in their time.
Absolutely. And you know what else, too? These people that we're talking about that are harassing and attacking, and you have Pritzker and Johnson not saying a damn thing about them, these are the Democrats' shock troops on the streets. That's what I think when I tell they're absolutely the Democrat shock troops.
Yes. Yes, and I'm also calling for police leadership to step up. At some time in your career, you have to push back. And I know that, like, the superintendent of Illinois State Police is appointed, the superintendent of Chicago is appointed. They, their jobs are owed to the politicians that put them in those positions. And they've worked hard in most cases to get those positions. But sometime in your career, when they start attacking the officers, your officers that you're putting out there, you're the leader, you need to push back.
Yes. I wanted to ask you about some other stuff, too. Look, you tweeted about this to me was the most hysterical thing in the world. Now, it's not okay to assault an officer, but this idiot, this deep stater in D.C. who threw his sandwich, his hoagie, at the Border Patrol officer, it's just, actually, I got a piece of audio from this guy. When he spoke, when they dismissed the case or whatever, they refused to convict the guy. They no-billed him. Here is this deep stater former Justice Department official or employee who was fired, of course, after he threw his hoagie at that Border Patrol officer. Here we go.
I am so happy that justice prevails in spite of everything happening. And that night, I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants. And
he means illegal immigrants, but let's continue.
Let us not forget that the Great Seal of the United States says e pluribus unum. That means from many, one. Every life matters, no matter where you came from.
He's remember there was an illegal that was dragged. He was screaming like a little girl. That viral video that went out, and it turned out that Telemundo and Univision went nuts on this guy. They carried it like wall to wall for 24 hours until they found out that he's a child rapist. But that guy assaulted the federal officer, the Border Patrol officer, with a sandwich, and it's funny because it's a sandwich, but it's not funny because it's assault on a cop. Tell me your thoughts about this, though.
Yeah, I thought it was, they returned to no true bill. I thought it was ridiculous because not only did the courts, but the media, and this was staged. I mean, if you saw the video, it was taken by somebody on their phone. But they threw it at the federal agent. It's not about the sandwich. It's about being able to physically attack or assault a police officer, in this case a federal officer, and walk away with no accountability. There's that fosters, Chris, lawlessness. And you know where that transfers to? That type of scenario that's being allowed and then no accountability, that trickles all the way down to your local police officer making a traffic stop and individuals fighting with you or arguing with you or assaulting you because they see that on the news and they see, oh, he wasn't convicted. He wasn't even indicted. It just fuels lawlessness and disrespect for law enforcement. And you think you can attack a police officer without any accountability.
Here's what I do like. I like the fact that he was fired from his job with the Department of Justice, which doesn't shock me. He's a deep stater with the Department of Justice. So I like that he lost his job. And number two, I like that he probably paid thousands of dollars to be brought. First of all, he was brought in front of a grand jury on a felony. Then it got bumped out down to a misdemeanor or some sort. But he probably spent several $1,000s on an attorney, and he lost his job. I'm at least happy because I'm going to bet, and I know we don't know this guy, you and me, but I'm going to bet this guy, if he had to do it over again, he would not have assaulted that federal officer with his sandwich.
Yeah, and you know what? You're absolutely right. And you know what I always say? I say sue him. And you're like, oh, that's a crazy idea. But you know what? This culture that you can just attack police and have no accountability is over as far as I'm concerned. Those days are over. And that was prevalent during just after the George Floyd riots. I mean, people were assaulting and getting away with attacking police left and right. Those days are over. You need to be held accountable and arrested for those types of crimes.
Chief, you wrote about the Mamdani effect and how it's going to affect our officers in Chicago and Chicagoland as well. The Department of Community Safety he wants to have to replace police responses to mental health crisis and unaccompanied social workers, civilian transit ambassadors, and not going to expand the force to 40,000 officers in New York City. Pledging to close Rikers Island, calling it a stain on the city's history, talking about reimagining policing, and that cities like Chicago and states like Illinois are going to follow. Tell me about that.
Well, make no doubt about it that police agencies throughout America are watching what's going on in New York with the politics affecting the police. They're going to be, if those policies go through, many other cities and communities throughout the United States are going to say, well, why don't we do that? It's okay in New York. It's past legal challenges in New York. They're doing this in New York. And smaller communities and smaller suburban agencies who don't have the resources, they're going to take these policies and procedures that are put in place in New York, and they're going to tailor them for their own community. And that happens all the time, and that will happen. And, I personally believe that the police commissioner should resign her position.
Yes,
not because
Tish.
she did anything wrong.
Right.
She's well-liked, well-respected, but there comes a time from what he did, what he said about the New York City Police Department, she should resign. And I would say no police professional, superintendent, chief, sheriff, they should work for that administration.
I agree.
At all, period.
This is going to be a disaster for law enforcement and the people of New York, isn't it?
It's going to be an outrage. They said they had 134 New York City police officers put in their retirement papers the next day after he was elected.
Absolutely. You wouldn't want to stick around there, would you, if you were in that department?
No. No,
Yeah.
and I know these people, they work a long time to get those top spots, and they're well deserving. But you're in the profession. You can't lead officers and work under his administration. That's not going to happen.
Chief Wetzel, Chief Tom Wetzel, the retired chief of police for Riverside, thank you very much for joining us on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Have a great morning.
You too, brother. All right, I want to get back to your call and talking about this whole Civil War type thing going on, where you have our local authorities and state authorities in Illinois and Chicago literally talking about, you got Brandon Johnson with his pathetic ice-free zones, or, DHS-free zones. Those are going to work as well as his gun-free zones, right? But you have what is very similar to what was going on in the Civil War. Before the Civil War, you have the same thing going on with Civil Rights era. We've got local officials saying, no, I'm not going to obey federal law, and no, I'm not going to honor the Supremacy Clause, which is what I have to do because that's what the laws are. We're going to fight, and we're going to vilify the federal government. We're going to continue with that discussion coming up next. We have several lines open at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. This is Chris Kroc filling in for Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Our veterans are our heroes. They answered the call to defend our freedom, putting their lives on the line for our nation. But today, thousands of those brave men and women are facing something no hero should ever face: food insecurity. That's where Farm to Veteran comes in. Through the Fulcrum Farm Foundation, this remarkable organization delivers farm fresh, nutritious food directly to veterans in need through veteran services and organizations. From greenhouse-grown produce to eggs, they're ensuring our heroes have access to the high-quality food they deserve. But Farm to Veteran can't do it alone. They need our help. Your financial contribution directly supports their mission to feed more veterans across their growing network of partner farms nationwide. And there's another way you can make a difference. Join them at their upcoming community events. Visit farmtoveteran.com today. That's veteran.com to donate or learn about events near you. Because those who served our country shouldn't have to wonder where their next meal is coming from. Let's stand with those who stood for us. That's veteran.com.
Priority tax relief. Attention taxpayers, if you owe $5,000 or more, have fallen behind on filings, or missed an IRS deadline, you're already on the IRS's radar. The IRS has resumed aggressive collections. That means wage garnishments, bank levies, even seizures of your home, car, or retirement accounts. If you owe $5,000 or more and missed the deadline, you're stacking new debt on top of what you already owe. Call Priority Tax Relief now. Their experts fight back fast and save their clients millions in tax debt every month.
I owed over $50,000, and they settled it for pennies on the dollar. These guys are legit.
After speaking on my behalf with the IRS, my entire debt of $25,000 will be eliminated.
Call for your free consultation. 800-697-3208. 800-697-3208.
We make your tax relief our priority. Priority Tax Relief.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crockett for Dan Proft. He's back on Monday. Let's go to Bob chiming in out of Buffalo Grove on the concept of civil war, on the concept of forced integration in the South and having to send troops in. The same thing going on in Chicago, Illinois, and in San Francisco, and other areas threatening to arrest and encouraging people to defy federal law enforcement doing enforcing federal law. Bob in Buffalo Grove, you are on AM 560 The Answer. Chris in for Dan.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
In discussing the Civil War, let me offer some additional commentary. I'm going to date myself. 60 years ago, I had to read a controversial book, The Cavalier and the Yankee, in high school. And it was such a significant book of the time. 1 year later, I had to read it again while I was in college. The premise of the book was a review of the Old South and leading up to the Civil War. Yes, the Civil War was about slavery, but the book makes the case of a significant cultural divide between the North states and the South states. It makes me wonder what's going on in the country right now. Are we in a cold Civil War because of the cultural divide in the country and what's been going on in the streets, you name it? There's a significant fracture, I think, within the country right now, the way we're treating one another, the states are behaving, you name it, the government, the Republicans, the Democrats. So I just want to offer with regards to the Civil War was not exclusively about slavery, but back then, over 150 years ago, we had a major fracture in the country.
Well, I appreciate your call. I mean, you look at this poll from N3 Strategies reported on Wirepoints. 42% of Democrats say violence is sometimes or mostly acceptable to stop ICE. 81% say Trump and many supporters like his are Nazis. 71% of Democrat voters support Pritzker doing whatever it takes to keep ICE and federal law enforcement out of Illinois, even though it's enforcing federal law. 71% want ICE officers to be prosecuted when Democrats take back control. You don't have to like what they're doing, but they're enforcing federal law. So you don't have to like how they're doing it either, but they're enforcing federal law. Let's go to Lee in Hammond. You are on AM 560 The Answer.
Yeah, hi, Chris. You know, as long as I've been alive, which is a while now, the left, quasi-communists, have been trying to figure out how to flip this country. All of the stuff that's going on now with all this strife and that is being financed internationally. It's actually being promoted. I think they're looking at this as the big push to get where they've been wanting to go for decades. I've actually talked to people that are members of Communist Party USA, and they tell me as much. This is their big opportunity. This is orchestrated, organized. You know it, I know it. And as far as your parallel with the Civil War, you're right. Slavery was not the core issue to the South. I'm not saying it was right the way they were thinking, they're looking at the North as being oppressors of their way of life. Of course, it's sort of a strange argument since you enslave a whole race of people.
Yeah.
But that's the way they looked at it. And there is a schism going on right now. As far as these illegals not getting their day in court, the January 6 people who are American citizens, the vast majority of them never saw a lawyer. They never were able to see their family. A lot of them never got any kind of medical attention. They were thrown into a hole and locked up for years. Where were all these bleeding hearts when this is going on to American citizens?
Well, because they think that caused that's exactly right, because they're against the people that were in January 6th that went into the Capitol building. That's why. Exactly right. It's the cause that they support that it's okay, and it's the cause they don't support that's not okay. Great point on that. We're going to talk to Stephen Moore, of course, economist with the Trump administration, and formerly with the Trump administration. I have so much to talk to him about coming up next. I can't wait. Of course, Chicago boy. We're going to check in with him on the government shutdown, the opening of it, Obamacare. Sales tax in Chicago. This is great. We are going to be the highest in any major city in the country very shortly. And so much more coming up next. It's Chris Kroc in for Dan Proft on AM 560, Chicago's Morning Answer. Right now, let's go to the newsroom with Stace Keene.
Good morning. It is 38 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. President Trump is calling for more National Guard troops to be stationed here in Chicago. Trump posted a message on his Truth Social website blaming an increase in crime on the vacancy rate of stores in Chicago's, quote, Miracle Mile. It's believed the president is referring to Chicago's Magnificent Mile, which has actually seen an increase in shops in the past couple of years. A new Wallet Hub Best and Worst Cities to Drive in for 2025 survey of the 100 largest cities ranks Chicago near the bottom, including 99th for traffic and infrastructure. Overall, the city ranks 96 in polling with a total score of 37.60. GOP State Senator Steve McClure argues when it comes to placing blame, all roads lead to Springfield.
It's red tape, it's requirements in Illinois and a labor shortage, and it's also there hasn't been enough initiative of state government to get these things done.
News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt reacts to election results.
Chuck Schumer thinks he won last night. He didn't. But blue states are blue states. They're going to blue state. And California opened the door for every state to do what needs to be done, which is redistrict, gerrymander, follow the lead, Indiana, get on board, Florida, wherever you can, redistrict and redistrict to win. Because Democrats are not responsible and they're increasingly radical.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Inflation is hitting everyone hard right now, especially when it comes to health care. Over the last 10 years, healthcare costs have skyrocketed by, get this, 230%. If you have Medicare Parts A and B, you know there are still out-of-pocket expenses like deductibles and co-payments, and they really add up. But here's some good news. MediShare 65 Plus is designed to fill in those gaps and help protect you from rising healthcare costs. At only $99 per month up to age 75, you get peace of mind at a price you can afford. And MediShare is trusted, too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other, business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MediShare 65 Plus just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call, too. Call now. 855-PSALM-32. That's 855-PSALM-32. 855-PSALM-32.
Are you tired of tech headaches slowing your business down? Unique Computing Solutions has been the go-to IT team for businesses in Illinois and Northwest Indiana for nearly 30 years. Your systems should be running smoothly, your data secured, and your communications streamlined. Visit our website today at UniqueComputingSolutions.com. That's UniqueComputingSolutions.com. UniqueComputingSolutions.com. Your IT challenges solved.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
They say timing is everything in the gold and silver markets, and it's true. Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. Although you can buy at the right time, if you buy the wrong coins, you may not make a profit. When gold was $400 an ounce, many people were talked into buying high-grade old gold and silver collector's coins. Unfortunately, most of the people who bought these so-called semi-numismatic coins, like the $20 St. Gaudens and Liberty Head gold coins, have not broken even on their investment. Incredible, given that gold has risen approximately 525% since then. So while timing is everything, if you buy the wrong coins, the timing simply doesn't matter. Having a dealer who cares about positioning you in the right types of coins or bullion will mean more to your portfolio than anything else. That's why I deal with Nick Rovich and AmFed Coin and Bullion. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. Or go to AmericanFederal.com, AmericanFederal.com.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay, and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Adler. Got some problems on the south side. It's a multi-vehicle accident on 95th Street at Stony Island Avenue, and then there's a garage fire at 85th Street at Stony Island Avenue. So avoid this area if you can. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne interchange is 40 minutes. Outbound is 47. We're slow on the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 33 minutes. Outbound is 27. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 35. Outbound is 24. You've got 28 minutes on the Dan Ryan inbound from 95th to the Byrne interchange. Outbound looks good at 12 and jam-packed northbound on Lakeshore Drive as you head towards Hollywood Avenue. This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be mostly sunny with breezy conditions reaching a high of 53. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 35. Tomorrow will bring sunshine with some high clouds reaching a high of 56. Looking ahead to Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, Chicago's Morning Answer. This is The Answer. Chris Crocken for Dan Proft. Dan's back on Monday. Get to be with you again Thursday and Friday. Before we talk to Stephen Moore, economist, of course, noted economist, he'll be joining us in a little bit. But first, I wanted to continue with your calls. Some great comparisons. Victor Davis Hanson writing a column the other day talking about how it's just like the Civil War going on right now, where you have people firing on Fort Sumter, beginning the Civil War. You have people that are in, for example, city of Chicago, state of Illinois, refusing to cooperate with federal officials, federal law enforcement. Even though there's a supremacy clause, you got Nancy Pelosi also saying that local authorities in San Francisco should arrest ICE. So it's very much also like the southern states being forced to integrate schools. Troops being called in to enforce that. And it's literally the same kind of thing we're seeing going on now, too. And you see the words that Governor Pritzker uses. You hear those words. And Brandon Johnson attacking ICE and encouraging violence against them, encouraging non-compliance with them. It's quite remarkable when you think of it, those comparisons. Several lines open right now if you want to chime in on that on AM 560. The Answer, 312-642-5600 is our number, 312-642-5600. Let's go to Brian in Evansville, Indiana. Brian, you're on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I want to say you kind of stole my thunder a little bit. People are talking about the 1860s, the Civil War era. Hell, in the 1950s, Governor Eisenhower had to send 101 Airborne Division into Arkansas because all the judges, all the politicians, and the governor didn't believe in equality down there. You got a situation today where half of these judges and people live in certain parts of the country. They don't no longer see themselves as Americans and respect your law no more. President Trump was a duly elected president, just like Abraham Lincoln was, and you got people in New York, California, they send the hell with him. They don't have to respect him. He gonna have to quit talking and send Army division into Chicago and New York and make an example to them and say the hell with the judges. The people elected me. I'm sorry, we at that point now. You can't keep on running to Texas and Florida and letting blue states disrespect your law. You'll never have unity in this country.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? When you flip it backwards, you would never hear a Democrat, and their heads have to explode hearing what we're saying.
Judges, they watch 20 million people walk across the country and didn't say nothing. I think they only take. Sooner or later, you're going to have to fight evil. I'm just saying, you're going to have to say the hell with it. I'm sending in troops who ain't in this country illegally is getting the hell out of here. I don't care what no judge or something say. I'm the duly elected president of the United States. Respect that.
And
But
Brian, you're welcome. Thank you. You literally have to. Could you imagine if we were talking to one of these leftists, one of these Democrat liberals, who supports attacking ICE, going after them, disobeying them, arresting them, physical violence against them, like the study, I should say the survey that I shared with you from that Wire Points reported on recently. Can you imagine their heads exploding if you're telling them that you are just like the southern states that refuse to comply with federal law and integrate? You are just like in the Civil War with defiance against the federal government. It's remarkable, very remarkable. But I can tell you right now, their heads would explode, and you could imagine their anger when you mention that and you say that to them. But it's true. Claire, you are in Plainfield on AM 560 The Answer. Chris in Verdun. Hello.
Hi, Chris. Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
First-time caller, a little nervous. So my big question when I listened to all of this, and I went into the Lion's Den not too long ago, and these people are ignorant. They only listen to one thing. They're brainwashed. But why is nobody talking about the due process issue? The protesters say that these people aren't getting due process, but they're getting right in the middle of causing it to not occur. They're not asking to see the warrants. They're not, you know what I'm saying? So why aren't we talking about that?
Yeah, I like what you're saying. So in other words, they're cutting off due process, which is somebody is cuffed and stuffed for allegedly violating the law or being illegal or having a warrant out for their arrest. They're cutting it off by trying to stop it, shoving the car door shut on a cop, a DHS officer trying to get out and enforce federal law. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. They're not going to let it happen.
Yeah. And why is the political arena allowed to basically call fire in a theater with all this rhetoric that they're calling?
That is
Pritzker and Johnson. They're yelling fire. They're causing these problems.
It is incredible what they say. And also, I was talking to Chief Wetzel, retired Riverside police chief, earlier this hour. Yeah, and the rhetoric that they're doing is absolutely. It's just I cannot believe the rhetoric. And when Wetzel and I were talking, you will never see Pritzker or Johnson say anything negative about the thugs in Little Village throwing paint cans and bricks and attacking ICE and even police officers. there is nothing. And when something happens, when, God forbid, one of our federal or local officers is shot and killed over this, or shot, and we had Chicago police officers hit and severely injured in Little Village when enforcement action was going on over this. You'll never hear them call out the people who are just wicked, sick, lawless thugs. They will never call them. They are their shock troops. I mean, you look at Pritzker saying, there's so many things he has said. It's just sickening. Terrorizing our neighborhoods, tear gassing innocent civilians, including children. So calling, ICE and federal officers terrorists. It's just sick.
Which they are. I mean, they are the terrorists.
Yes,
and really quick, I went to the ICE website.
Real fast. 1 second. Yeah. These people are their shock troops. They are the Democrat shock troops. Go ahead.
I went to the ICE website because I go to the sources, and I wish you guys would report too on things like the ICE team that saved the man from the burning car that got hit by a semi recently. That's on the ICE website, and it was here in Chicago. I'd love to hear that on the main news from you guys, which are conservative. Talk about the stuff that they're doing right, and it's from their source. So it can't be wrong.
I do appreciate that. That's a great point, Claire. And your first call was a great one. I look forward to your next call.
Oh, thanks so much. Have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you very much. Roger Frank in Rogers Park. You are on AM 560 The Answer. Chris and Berdan.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We're seeing right before our eyes a radicalization with the media and the college, and especially now with Mexicans or immigrants. They're trying to utilize a race war, really. If you think it goes back to kind of Operation Chaos with Helter Skelter, Charles Manson, they wanted to manufacture a race war.
Well, I'll tell you this, there is chaos, intentional chaos is exactly what they want and is happening. That is exactly right about as far as intentional chaos. I appreciate your call. Let's go to Roger on the south side. Roger, you're on AM 560 The Answer. Chris Crock in for Dan Proft.
Hey, Chris. You do a great job when Dan's off.
Thank you.
Dan gets a little tired of me when I do call in because, I am the glass half empty. Chicago's done. And you know what? There's no talking about it anymore. I know that's not a great thing for talk radio or for the podcast and stuff, but you will never in our lifetime systematically weed out the corruption here. I mean, it's great having Chief Wetzel on and, Jody Weiss and, we have the best guests going here at, 560, Sean Thompson. Okay. Until you start addressing the corruption of the 500 Cook County judges, who are owned essentially by Tony Freckwinkle. There's really nothing to talk about. You either leave or you shut up and live with it. Otherwise, you're done here. You're never going to weed this out. I can go neighborhood to neighborhood, block by block, from Howard to the east side to Mount Greenwood to downtown, and give you 500 cons compared to the 4 pros. And the 4 pros, we love our restaurants or we love our lakefront. Okay, when you have 20% of the people voting of the registered voters, that's 20% of the registered voters, not 20% of the population or the amount of people who are, 10 years ago you had 400,000 illegals here in the outlying areas. It's done.
Well,
it's done. It's only a matter of the only thing that's going to bring it back is insolvency.
Okay, now I'll just say this: I don't. I hate to be a pessimist. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I do often wonder with this: how bad does it have to get before people start changing their mind and start changing their votes? I look at how in God's name does Brandon Johnson get elected after Larry Lightfoot, a.k.a. Beetlejuice? How does that happen? And are the people that stupid? But I think one of the things you're right is the low voter turnout and such. Let's go to Stephen Moore, of course, noted economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and The Plan to Unleash Prosperity, again, co-authored by with Art Laffer. Steve Moore, Chicago boy, how are you, sir?
Good morning. Well, I am in Chicago today. Sorry to be a little late.
Hey!
My flight from DCA to O'Hare was delayed by about 3 hours, got in at about 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening in the air. Folks, stay away from the airports. I mean, I've been traveling this week. You go to the airports now, cancel, delayed 3 hours, da-da-da. And then you know what happened? I mean, I'm sorry to cry on your shoulder. So then they tell me, we have a 9 a.m. flight. No, it's not going to leave till noon. And so, my wife and I got to go out to just get something to eat. Then we go back. Oh no, actually they moved it up. It left at 9. What's going on? My gosh, here? It is craziness. But listen, I was listening to your conversation, and it is a sad state of affairs in America that you now have the 3 largest cities in America, 3 most important cities: Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York City. All of them have socialist mayors. And how many times do we have to learn this lesson that socialism is a destructive force? You're going to tax all the rich people. They're leaving, folks. I just got back from Florida. I mean, everywhere you go, you see Illinois license plates, you see Massachusetts license plates, you see New York license plates. I mean, Florida has imported $1 trillion of income from other states in the last 10 years. $1 trillion. Wow. So people are leaving these great cities, and who's going to be left to pay the bills?
Illegals and hardcore leftists.
Right, I don't think so. And how many times? Look, there's no such thing as a free lunch, as the great Chicago economist Milton Friedman taught us. Somebody has to pay for this stuff, and the rich people, they're leaving. I mean, I believe because of that horrible election that happened on last Tuesday, a week ago Tuesday, I think that New York City will no longer be Wall Street will no longer be in Manhattan. It's going to move to Dallas, Texas, or Miami, Florida.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because I'm sitting in Dallas right now, as you know, that's. Do you see the NYSE turning into the TXSE or the FLXE?
Yes. It's already happening, as you know. You're there in Dallas. I mean, Dallas has financial services workers today than Manhattan does. It's unbelievable. And they will continue to leave. What are they going to do? Build a Berlin Wall around New York so they can't get out? They will leave. They have been leaving. But incidentally, I was looking at the 5 highest cost of living states and the 5 lowest cost of living, because everybody's talking about affordability. Everything costs too much. I need to go somewhere where things are cheaper. Well, guess what? The 5 lowest cost states are all red states like North Dakota, states like Virginia, states like Mississippi, and then what are the highest cost states? Oh yeah, Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey. So they ruin everything they touch, and it is so sad to me because Mamdani, you saw his famous quote that he said. He said, "There is no problem in America that government cannot solve."
Yes.
I'm like, shit, show me one problem that government has solved. They haven't fixed the schools. They can't fix the potholes. They build these rail systems to nowhere. They look at what's happened to our healthcare system. Health costs are out of control. They're going up by another 15% this year, and it's run by the government.
Steve, I wanted to ask you about that, but real quickly, too. Chicago, number one, sales tax will hit 10.5% by June 2026, the highest of any major city. Second of all, you got Brandon Johnson trying to force what was already ended not too long ago in Chicago with a $21 per head employee tax on businesses of 100 people or more. It is disgusting. How does this affect the economics and the job opportunities and the future of the city of Chicago when they're doing this?
Well, I'm at this hotel. As I said, I got late. So it's $450 for a hotel. That's a lot in the Miracle Mile. But my sales tax on the room is $50 for one night. $50 tax. So I know exactly what you're talking about. There's an old saying: economics is really pretty simple. You don't need a PhD. You don't need a master's. You don't even need a bachelor's degree in economics to understand how the world works. If you tax something, you get less of it. Right? That's why we tax cigarettes. We want people to smoke less. So if you tax employers every time they hire a worker, guess what's going to happen?
They're going to leave. There are going to be less workers. They're going to be less workers, period.
Yeah, they're going to hire
the business is going to leave. Yeah.
You know what? What's going to happen in Chicago if they keep this up? All the jobs are going to be done by robots because they don't pay tax.
Last thing, Steve, we have about 40 seconds here. I wanted to ask you this. The Democrats shut the government down for 40-plus days. What did they get?
Nothing. Nothing. And, it was a white flag of surrender by Chucky Schumer. They all they did was create turmoil, chaos, a lot of frustration for Americans. It cost the economy over $50 billion, the shutdown, and they accomplished absolutely nothing. But look, what is their objective? They want the government to completely take over the healthcare system because it's worked so well with the schools and everything else that they do. So, we're going to have a big debate in this country about what to do about healthcare. I like Trump's idea, by the way. Just give the money to the people and let them buy their own health insurance.
Stephen Moore, noted economist, Chicago boy, author of the Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again, co-authored with Art Laffer. Thank you for your time, sir. I'm glad you're back in town.
Right. Have a great day. Take
care. You too. Okay, coming up next, Mamdani, and it's unbelievable how this psychiatrist breaks down Mamdani and what he's doing, along with the latest from Mamdani, speaking of that. And the DOJ is investigating Berkeley, where people were attacked at Turning Point USA the other day. All that's next. Chris Crock on AM 560, The Answer, in for Dan Proft.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine spending your holiday season with family, not IT headaches from work. With managed IT help desk services by Access One, you get 24/7 expert support, an IT team that never takes time off for roughly the same cost or less than one IT person. Access One's IT Help Desk is a local center here in Chicago, ready to help 365 days a year, so you have less IT downtime and no IT staffing issues. You deserve to enjoy your holiday season with family, eating home-cooked meals, not getting interrupted with IT issues. Access One can give you peace of mind during the holidays. It's a gift to yourself and your company. To speak with an Access One agent, call 800-654-1555. Access One is now offering a 90-day risk-free trial so you can discover how they fix IT for good. Learn more at accessoneInc.com/guarantee. IT support tickets piling up? Not anymore. Hand off your help desk to Access One. AccessOneInc.com.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows for only $14.98. It gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more, or multi-use pillows for only $9.98. Get body pillows for $29.98 with a free pillowcase. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. That's 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. Order $100 or more and your order ships absolutely free. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
On day 43 of the government shutdown, a House vote will likely end it. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Congressman Buddy Carter, a Republican, tells Fox.
I'm very confident that we have those votes. I'm very confident that we're going to get this passed.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the Capitol.
Essentially taking what the Senate approved just a few days ago and bringing it over to the House side. The deal that is on the table would reopen the government. It would also fund certain priorities like SNAP benefits, government pay, military construction for several months. But it does not give into Democrats' key demand to spend taxpayer dollars on subsidizing Obamacare insurance plans, and it's something that top Democrats today are furious about.
So most, if not all, Democrats will vote no. Those tax credits expire at the end of the year, driving up the cost of health care coverage for millions of Americans. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent blames Democrats for the shutdown. He says it cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars.
The economy was in a great place, 3.8% growth last quarter, tracking very well this time. I think we're going to accelerate into 2026, but they've caused a hiccup here.
Travel is still stressful amid unpaid air traffic controllers calling out sick. There are another 1,400 flights canceled or delayed today. Fox's Brooke Taylor's at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport.
People are anxious. They are frustrated. And while it seems like the government shutdown is going to end soon, officials say that it is going to take a few days for this chaos at the airports to clear up. Flight reductions are in place at 4 40 major airports and are expected to increase to 10% by Friday, even if the shutdown ends.
Homeland Security is reporting its much protested operation in the Chicago area, cracking down on crime and illegal immigration, has led to a big drop in robberies, carjackings, shootings. Secretary Kristi Noem tells Fox.
The significant difference that we've made in public safety in Chicago is something that we need more in many more cities.
Noem also says an operation in Florida arrested 150 illegal immigrants accused of sex crimes. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 38 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The Department of Homeland Security has released new numbers indicating that crime has been decreasing in the city since the beginning of Operation Midway Blitz. Data shows homicides are down by 16%, shootings down by 35%, and robberies decreased by 41%. CBP Senior Advisor Ron Vitiello is praising the work done by law enforcement and tells Fox's America's Newsroom that they plan to continue their operation in order to deal with violent crime.
We will continue to have a prioritization for getting the worst of the worst out of every single city in the United States. The mission will continue at every level.
However, Chicago police data shows that crime was down before the federal crackdown even started, with shootings, robberies, and murders down by almost a third as compared to last year. Local and state officials, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, have criticized the deployment of federal troops by President Trump as an abuse of power and argue crime prevention should be left to local law enforcement. Cook County officials say the second installment of property tax bills for tax year 2024 are expected to be mailed to property owners by Friday, with a due date of December 15th. Cook County's tax system officials blaming this year's delay on an overhaul of the system's technological backbone. And did you catch the northern lights over Chicago last night? The night sky was lit up with hues of red and purple and green due to a geomagnetic solar storm in the atmosphere. Now, if you missed the northern lights last night, you may have another chance tonight. The best time to catch them is 9 p.m. until 1 a.m. Officials say you might get a better look through your camera. Just point it up at the sky and enjoy the view. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes, but time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Google is suing to combat international cyber scams. It will also work with Congress on bipartisan bills to crack down on foreign cyber criminals. Google says the Lighthouse scam has deployed a massive attack, exploiting established brands like the EasyPass toll-paying system used in the Northeast, with the goal of exploiting victims' financial information. Chevron, known mostly for its gas stations and producing oil, is working on providing energy to a West Texas artificial intelligence data center. Chevron also produces natural gas and expects to produce energy for the center with a power plant that will go online by 2027. Stock futures are higher with hopes the government shutdown could end as soon as today. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
Ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO. Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Huber, co-developer of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Did you know that the 23 natural ingredients in Virago are not only an immune enhancer, but also support and protect your heart, lungs, brain, and kidneys? These organs are negatively affected by numerous diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and chronic inflammation. The natural ingredients in Virago, such as luteolin and fisetin, protect and improve the cognitive function in your brain. The uracilic acid in Virago protects and improves kidney functions, whereas quercetin protects and improves heart function. These are just a few of the natural ingredients that provide a synergistic effect. Virago, inspiring healthy choices.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle of Virago today. Order online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
Honey, what's for dinner?
Honestly, nothing.
Nothing? Why not?
Because every time I need a pan, I have to unload half the kitchen first.
It's like Jenga, but with casserole dishes.
Exactly. And I always lose.
At Forever Remodeling, we create kitchens that fit your life, not the other way around. From smart storage to stunning finishes, start cooking in a kitchen built just for you. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors the sacrifices of America's heroes. Heroes like U.S. Army Specialist Andy Keith Kingsley. Andy was part of the 82nd Airborne Division. He received various awards and decorations, including a Purple Heart. While deployed, Andy was catastrophically injured in combat. Andy and his family received a mortgage-free smart home from Tunnel to Towers. But many more heroes like Andy need your support. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry!
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Take the journey of living a happy, successful, and meaningful life through God. Listen to It's Time with Dan Lights, Sunday mornings at 9 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Jam-packed northbound on Lakeshore Drive as you head towards Hollywood Avenue, and then on the south side, watch out, there's a multi-vehicle accident, and this is on 95th Street at Stony Island Avenue. We also are seeing lots of slowdowns on the Bishop Ford on the inbound side between the Stony Island feeder into the Dan Ryan. Now the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn interchange is 37 minutes, outbound is 12. You've got 46 minutes inbound on the Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, outbound 27. Now the Eden, really not too bad. Inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose is 18 minutes, outbound is 26. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn interchange, 49 minutes, outbound is 47. And delays on the inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 41 minutes, outbound is 37. Traffic is a service of Woodland Windows. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be mostly sunny with a breeze reaching a high of 53. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 35. Tomorrow expect sun with areas of high clouds and a high of 56. By Friday it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc in for Dan Proft. He is back on Monday. I get to be with you today, tomorrow, and Friday. I want to get into Mamdani in just a minute, but I just got to hit back at this because the shutdown supposedly is about to end. We know there's enough Democrat votes now, 8 Democrats in total, to end the shutdown. And I want to ask you this. With 40 plus days of the shutdown, what did you get? What did you get from the 40-day shutdown? Also, what did the Democrats get by shutting the government down? My favorite little soundbite today to share with you is a compilation of soundbites. This is Democrat Tim Kennedy, congressman from Buffalo, New York area. And then these are different folks working with people that are on food stamps. who are supposedly starving because, or there's people that actually need help because like single parents maybe, and they're doing the best they can, they're working and everything, getting some assistance. So you're going to hear the effect it has had on the Democrats' constituents as well. Check this one out. This is great here.
This is a moral choice. A choice by the Trump administration built on cruelty. Shame on this president, and shame on congressional Republicans that are enabling him.
Okay, it's funny because he's blaming the Republicans, but who was it that just voted to open the government up, and which would free up funding for SNAP, food stamps? Well, it's the Democrats. Alex Marlow, the editor at Breitbart.com, said it succinctly: who ended the suffering? The Democrats, who changed their vote. That was how suffering ended. So it was the Democrats who were imposing the suffering on all of us. For the first time after 15 votes, they're now going to vote yes to refund the government and open up the government. But let's hear what the Democrats did to their constituents on food stamps. This is great. Listen to this.
To do this to the American people.
I'm standing here today. I'm horrified by what is happening in our country.
We know someone that actually was climbing into the dumpster to find food, and that just broke our heart. We just actually had a young boy in our after-school program. We served hot dogs. He rolled up one of the hot dogs and said, "Pastor, can I take one home to my mom?"
So the Democrats have forced their constituents, by shutting down the government for 40-plus days, to dumpster dive for food. That's what you got from the Democrats on a 40-plus day shutdown. Dumpster diving. You have a new experience from the Democrat Party. You get to dumpster dive. Now, I don't know if that Democrat earlier I played for you there a second ago, Tim Kennedy from New York, I don't know if he is going to get in some grubby clothes and jump in the dumpster dive for food with his constituents, but that's what he caused, and that's what his party caused. Dumpster diving. That's what you got. You may have gotten the privilege of dumpster diving for your food.
You know, it's just, and this is reality.
Literally, I mean, the line was all the way out to the front desk area. People were still coming. And then we realized, I'm like, hey, let me just check my staff, check the inventory. We realized, like, we're going to run out of food.
Yes, you're going to run out of food. And then here's my favorite. Well, it's a tie between the Democrats forcing some people to dumpster dive for food. And remember, they did this. They chose to do this. You know, you could say, well, the Democrats shut down the government for 40-plus days, and all I got was this T-shirt, but they didn't even pay for the T-shirt. Or you could get a T-shirt that says, I got to dumpster dive. The Democrats shut the government down for 40 days, and I got to dumpster dive. And then here, this is probably my favorite one, though. This is a woman who is obese, over 100 pounds, at least 100 pounds overweight, maybe even more than that. And this woman is standing on a sidewalk in New York City, and she is starving. She's standing in the corner, and she is starving. That's all she's doing. Here she is panicking, talking to the news.
It's really bad. Danielle Grant is starving. You know, I'm trying to see if I can get some food, because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make it.
Who in God's name is standing on a sidewalk in a first world country saying, I'm starving, I'm starving, I'm standing here, I'm starving, waiting for the news media? Do you know, you hear about people talking about crisis actors. Is this woman actually standing on a sidewalk saying, I'm starving, help me? She's wearing a very nice hoodie sweatshirt. Her hair looks well coiffed, it's colored, and she is standing on a street corner starving because the Democrats shut down the food stamps. I tell you what, God help us if people can't figure out how to get food in a first world country because food stamps have stopped for 40 days. But this is what the Democrats got you. I ask you the question, what did you get for the shutdown? Well, some people got to dumpster dive. Some people got to stand on a corner and starve. I'm very suspicious if she's actually real, as far as like if she's acting or if she's really just standing on a corner starving and unashamedly standing there. You know, I can't. I'm 100 plus pounds overweight. I am starving. Help me. Help me. I'm starving. Maybe she needs to learn how to hunt. You got another guy who says, I'm down to my last $10 in one of these articles. And he says, I got ramen noodles and I got rice or something like that. Dude, you can live off of rice and beans. You can live off of, get the cheapest thing there is out there. I mean, eggs are, at least where I'm at, $3 something. I don't know. I just got 3 dozen eggs yesterday for under $10. So, anyways, but they got people starving, and they got people dumpster diving. That's what they got. And maybe you were one of the lucky ones. Maybe you were one of the lucky ones who was on an airport tarmac for 12 hours. That's what one person got, 12 hours sitting on an airplane. Another one, 2 hours. Perhaps that's what the Democrats brought you from the shutdown. Here's somebody who flew from New York, from Buffalo, New York, down to Miami to watch the Bills play the Dolphins, and their flight got canceled. So then they were sent up to Orlando. I guess that wasn't one of the 40 airports canceling stuff. They spent $150 on a rental car, drove up to Orlando from Miami. Delayed. It was canceled. So then they said, well, let's just, we got to get back home. We got to get back to our jobs. Let's spend $1,300 on a rental car to drive from Orlando up to Buffalo, New York. God, that would be a god-awful drive. So this is what the Democrats brought you. And by the way, the airlines will not be back to normal in a few days. Travel experts are saying flights could be in shambles for a while. It'll take time for airlines to get back to regular staffing, and this could still include Thanksgiving travel. Woo, isn't that exciting? One pilot telling passengers, call your senators after sitting on the runway for 2 hours. Which senators should we call? Who was it that shut the government down? Who was it that wouldn't open up the government? So the Democrats got us dumpster diving, people standing on the street corner saying they're starving, and you and I sitting on a tarmac or getting our flights canceled. That's what they got us. And by the way, I wonder what the average person who votes Democrat, who blamed Republicans for this, what are they thinking when they saw all the late-night hosts last night, the leftist hosts who don't make comedy anymore, just attack conservatives and Republicans, when they all attack the Democrats for reopening the government? Do they finally realize, wait a minute, the Democrats shut the government down? Wait, the Democrats reopen the government? How is this Republicans' fault? Do they actually realize this? I don't know. But what did you get for the shutdown? And what did the Democrats get? You tell me what you think on that. I think you got a nice little goose egg along with some canceled flights, sitting on a tarmac, and dumpster diving. I mean, what's not to like about this? Let's get another shutdown soon. Come on. 312-642-5600 is our number. 312-642-5600. Let's go to Scott in Sycamore. Scott, you're on AM 560 The Answer. Chris and for Dan. Hold on, Scott. Let me try that. There you go. There you go, Scott. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Morning. You know, I think one of the big questions people need to ask is with this whole SNAP thing. After only one missed payment, you're starving? What are the choices you're making in food that one missed payment and you're starving?
And you're standing on a street corner. You're standing on a street corner screaming you're starving to the news.
And I know you asked earlier how bad do things have to get before people pay attention?
Yeah.
Here's one of the big issues we have, especially in Chicago. And sorry, I'm driving in a truck, so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Go ahead.
But, you know, in Chicago, this is a great example of why things get so bad and they still don't do anything. In Chicago, we had an issue a bunch of years back with Todd Schroeder taking over for his dad, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And everybody talked about, oh, my gosh, we need to get this guy out. We need to get this guy out. And then there was a guy that was running against him, and everybody said how wonderful it was. We're going to be able to get Todd out. And then Todd won in a landslide, and when they went back to ask people, well, what happened here? And they turned around and said, well, I wasn't about to vote for a white guy. You make this choice of you're choosing to vote blindly for a party or a skin color or a single issue. And that's why we're in the mess we're in, because people don't pay attention to what's really going on and what their politicians actually stand for and vote for.
Well, then, you know what? How badly does somebody, regardless of race or whatever, how badly does somebody need to get punished or beaten, literally or physically, before they start going, wait a minute, this is not helping me, this is hurting me? You know?
It's a sad question that you have to ask nowadays, because you watch it happen every day. I mean, you used to be able to go to shop on the Magnificent Mile for Christmas, and now you go down there and people are getting mugged in broad daylight now. Or
Louis Vuitton stores being looted. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Scott, I appreciate your call. Truck or no truck in the background. It was a great call. Art, you are in Cook County. You're on AM 560, The Answer.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Dave from Niles.
Okay.
Great show. Number one, what I got out of it is being able to show people in 3D why you do not 100% rely on the government for your food or even your own personal protection. If they decide that they're not going to send the police to protect you, you're not protected, you better have a gun.
Yes.
If they decide they're not going to feed you, you better have some money in the bank. But also it shows what's going to happen in the future, because eventually the money runs out.
Yep.
And the people who are laughing at me for working, I'm on my way to court battling the Kennedy, who laugh at me because they're making $50,000 a year sitting at home. All of a sudden that faucet turns off and they're ringing my doorbell.
Mm.
You know, that's 50% of my income going to all that, to that lady that's starving after missing one payment. So I think it brought a lot of good things to light. It boiled out the water and brought out the salt and the vegetables. So
Art,
we've got a lot of things to change here.
Appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you very much. Look at this. Hakeem Jeffrey says, we did gain something from the shutdown besides having our constituents dumpster dive or screwing you on your air flights. We have elevated successfully the issue of the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Look, that's why we shut the government down for 40 days and starved people and had you sitting on a tarmac. We wanted to raise awareness to the Affordable Care Act that is not affordable because it needs subsidies. So that's why you did it. You're pretty smart over there, huh? Pretty tricky. Meanwhile, CNN chief congressional correspondent Manu Raju says there are Democrats in the Senate that are glad that the 8 Senate Democrats who broke ranks and voted with Senate Republicans to end the government shutdown stepped up to do so, and a lot of the members didn't want to take the brunt of the criticism for voting yes. Thank you for opening the government. Shh. 312-642-5600 is our number. Let's go to Glenn in Orlando. You're on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, good morning. The one thing the shutdown should have taught everybody, and I think your last caller was discussing it, is how free are you? If you depend on the government for your day-to-day activity, you're not really free. I'd rather be independent, leave me alone, and let me figure out how to live my life with a quality of life I want, rather than worry about the government telling me what quality of life I need. So freedom, it was really on display, showing you that you're not free if you depend on the government. I mean, we have too much government. It needs to shrink.
I agree, and I appreciate your great call. Let's go to John in Mundelein. John, you are on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi. I guess I'll be the voice of dissent here, but I appreciate you taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Back in 2016, when Trump was running the first time, he told rally crowds, you're going to have the best health care at a tiny fraction of the cost, and it'll be so easy. That's a quote. Those are his words. So 9 years later, he's never had a health care plan. As you pointed out, subsidies under the ACA are about to end. What you didn't point out is that's going to mean millions and millions of people have their costs double or don't have health care coverage at all. So tell me, since Trump has obviously always been lying about having a health care plan, what is the Republican plan? Tell me specifically what the plan is.
Okay, there's two things. Number one, you said people with subsidies, they're going to be unable to afford health care and stuff. Do you know, for example, the subsidies right now that you're talking about, do you know what a family of 4 in Phoenix, Arizona can earn up to and get subsidized health care? What can they earn up to, a family of 4? Take a guess.
I don't know anything about healthcare in Phoenix, Arizona. I live in Mundelein.
No, I'm asking you, take a guess what a family of 4, what their total income can be and still get subsidized health care that you and I pay for.
$150,000 a year.
$600,000. If you got $600,000 a year, you can try. Wait, hold on. Relax. Just, hey, dude, you asked me a question. I'm trying to answer it. Okay, so can you imagine if somebody's earning $600,000 a year, they're probably driving a Porsche Cayenne, living in a $5,000 square foot house. How about West Virginia, a married couple? Take a guess, West Virginia married couple, how much they can earn up to get subsidized health care paid for by you and me.
Are you denying that millions of people are going to see?
Okay, you don't want to answer the question? I'll answer it for you. I will answer it for you. $580,000. So you want to pay people pulling down $580,000 in West Virginia, just a couple, married, which is like making $1 million in Chicago probably, and you want to subsidize their health care. Trump's answer, I can answer that one in a split second. Trump's answer is, let's take all the money we're excuse my language, pissing away on Obamacare, which is not affordable. It started out in 2014, it was $240 a month. Now it's $467 a month. It's unaffordable Care Act. Take that money we're wasting on that and give it to the people to pay for their own health care. I love that idea. That's a great plan for me. Mamdani, New York City needs a leader, not a therapist. You've got to hear that coming up next on AM 560. The Answer, Chris Crockett for Dan Proft.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When the power goes out, life stops. Heat, AC, fridge, phones, all gone. But with a Generac home standby generator from True Power Generator Service, your home powers back on automatically, so you're never left in the dark. Book your consultation today at TruePowerGenerator.com. That's TruePowerGenerator.com. Plus, 560 listeners get a free 10-year extended warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Call for details. True Power Generator Service and Generac. It's not just a generator, it's a power move.
Why would you take your precious metal collections to some fly-by-night roadshow that rolls into town once a year? The only thing you need to do is follow the road to Fox Valley Coins and show your gold or silver to Marlin and the team. Gold is at an all-time historical high, so don't keep sitting on your coin hoards or old jewelry that you've been saving to sell when the time is right. The time is right now. Prices have never been better on most collector and gold coins. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is trying to keep up with demand. So they're paying the most ever on not only most gold coins in bars, but also those old coin collections. You might have scarce dates or higher grade coins, so take advantage of the record high market price and the demand now. Whether you're buying or selling, or just want to find out values, trust the team at Fox Valley Coins. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
Our veterans are our heroes. They answered the call to defend our freedom, putting their lives on the line for our nation. But today, thousands of those brave men and women are facing something no hero should ever face: food insecurity. That's where Farm to Veteran comes in. Through the Fulcrum Farm Foundation, this remarkable organization delivers farm-fresh, nutritious food directly to veterans in need through veteran services and organizations. From greenhouse-grown produce to eggs, they're ensuring our heroes have access to the high-quality food they deserve. But Farm to Veteran can't do it alone. They need our help. Your financial contribution directly supports their mission to feed more veterans across their growing network of partner farms nationwide. And there's another way you can make a difference. Join them at their upcoming community events. Visit farmtoveteran.com today. That's farm2veteran.com to donate or learn about events near you. Because those who served our country shouldn't have to wonder where their next meal is coming from. Let's stand with those who stood for us. That's farm2veteran.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Car Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Rock and for Dan Proft. New York City needs a leader, not a therapist. This is an absolute brilliant column written by Jonathan Alpert. Hat tip to producer Quinn, because this is a great column he found. This is written by a psychiatrist in The Hill about Mamdani. He does not confront. He comforts. Your feelings are valid, and someone else is to blame. People feel understood. Resentment begins to sound like moral clarity. Hardship is framed as harm. When I'm going through something hard times, I'm being harmed. Disagreement is framed as injury. Personal frustration is framed as injustice. That's projection, he says. Mamdani gives voters permission to externalize discomfort and believe their struggles were done to them. Mamdani says, look what they did to you. They did this to you. I and the government, I'm going to help you. If you are struggling, someone else must have taken too much. I'm going to pause it right there. We're going to continue when we come back. Also, we're going to talk to our guest from the Washington Examiner on the attacks on all these drug boats going out of Colombia towards Venezuela, etc. And so many warships are there right now in that part of the globe. You have got to hear this coming up next as well. It's Chris Crock on AM 560 The Answer, filling in for Dan Proft on Chicago's Morning Answer. Now we'll go to the newsroom with Stace Keene.
Good morning. It is a chilly 39 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was at O'Hare International Airport yesterday, where he explained that air traffic controllers will be made financially whole as soon as the government shutdown ends.
They'll be paid within 24 to 48 hours of the government opening. They'll get 70% of their back pay in that time frame, and then after, the remainder will be made up. I think it's about a week they'll get the remainder of the pay.
O'Hare is one of several major airline hubs that are bearing the brunt of mandated cancellations and delays. Duffy says should the shutdown continue, Thanksgiving travel plans could be severely impacted. The House is expected to vote on a funding bill today. And if you missed the northern lights last night, you may get another chance to see them tonight. A geomagnetic storm is the cause for the brilliant light display. Officials say the best time to view the northern lights is from 9 p.m. until 1 a.m., and they advise using a camera for maximum viewing. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Check the Roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Larry Elder explains the real Obamacare.
Yeah, we were told over and over and over again that Obamacare was going to bend the cost curve down. And people are paying more for their premiums. Co-pays are higher. Deductibles are higher. Cost is higher. For people that get coverage through their employer, it's higher. Individual, it's higher. It's made things worse.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Priority tax relief. Attention taxpayers. If you owe $5,000 or more, have fallen behind on filings, or missed an IRS deadline, you're already on the IRS's radar. The IRS has resumed aggressive collections. That means wage garnishments, bank levies, even seizures of your home, car, or retirement accounts. If you owe $5,000 or more and missed the deadline, you're stacking new debt on top of what you already owe. Call Priority Tax Relief now. Their experts fight back fast and save their clients millions in tax debt every month.
I owed over $50,000, and they settled it for pennies on the dollar. These guys are legit.
After speaking on my behalf with the IRS, my entire debt of $25,000 will be eliminated.
Call for your free consultation. 800-697-3208. 800-697-3208.
We make your tax relief our priority.
Priority Tax Relief. If you're looking for a watch that makes a statement, Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville has the perfect timepiece for you. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Roland's carries my favorite watch brand, Tag Heuer. Tag Heuer is all about precision with a sleek, bold style. And I've got a Tag Heuer watch from my friends at Roland's Jewelers. I love it. They've got a great selection of other fashion-forward watch brands like Bell & Ross, Movado, Tissot, and Michelle. Or consider Roland's iconic collection of pre-owned Rolexes. Let Roland's watch specialists help you find the perfect timepiece that fits your style and have their terrific experts show you the Tag Heuer watch that I bought from Roland's. Ask for it by name. Tell them it's Mike Gallagher's watch. Visit Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or RolandsJewelers.com. That's Roland's, ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust, just like I do.
Imagine spending your holiday season with family, not IT headaches from work. With managed IT help desk services by Access One, you get 24/7 expert support, an IT team that never takes time off, for roughly the same cost or less than one IT person. Access One's IT help desk is a local center here in Chicago, ready to help 365 days a year, so you have less IT downtime and no IT staffing issues. You deserve to enjoy your holiday season with family, eating home-cooked meals, not getting interrupted with IT issues. Access One can give you peace of mind during the holidays. It's a gift to yourself and your company. To speak with an Access One agent, call 800-654-1555. Access One is now offering a 90-day risk-free trial so you can discover how they fix IT for good. Learn more at accessoneInc.com/guarantee. IT support tickets piling up? Not anymore. Hand off your help desk to Access One. accessoneInc.com.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Eller. Jam-packed on the northbound side of Lakeshore Drive by 57th Street, then stop and go further north between Foster Avenue and Hollywood Avenue. The Eden inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose is 18 minutes. Outbound is now 30. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 54 minutes. Outbound is 46. Jammed on the northbound Tri-State just past 87th Street with someone having a medical emergency, so lots of emergency vehicles. Then more delays as you approach the outbound Eisenhower. The Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the old post office is 47 minutes. Outbound is 35. This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you'll find everything you need for the holidays, all for under $35 with new arrivals every day. You never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy's Backstage. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be mostly sunny with breezy conditions reaching a high of 53. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 35. Tomorrow will bring sunshine with some high clouds reaching a high of 56. Looking ahead to Friday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yes. Crank it, baby. This is AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crockett for Dan Proft on Chicago's Morning Answer. Dan's back on Monday. I get to play with you, play radio with you for a few more days. In just a moment, we'll talk to Mike Brest, Washington Examiner reporter, on the latest on the strikes of the drug boats from Venezuela. But first, I wanted to share this with you. New York City needs a leader, not a therapist. This is an absolute brilliant column written by a psychiatrist in The Hill on Mamdani. I'll continue on here. Mamdani gives voters permission to externalize discomfort and believe their struggles were done to them. If you can't afford things, it was done to you. If you're struggling, someone else must have taken too much. It feels righteous. It also prevents progress. Something I see, the psychiatrist writes, in private practice. One client spent months convinced his boss was undermining him. The real issue was that he was avoiding risk. When he stopped outsourcing blame, his confidence returned. Growth happens when discomfort is confronted, not reassigned. Universities describe ordinary disagreements as trauma. Mamdani reflects this shift. He treats grievance the way a pop therapist treats trauma. Not as pain to work through, but as identity to embrace. I am a victim. I am aggrieved. Projection flatters both sides, he says. Voters feel heard. Leaders appear to be compassionate. Oh, Mamdani's so compassionate. I feel validated. He hears me. I'm a victim. But it does not solve anything, says the psychiatrist. When politicians reward projection, they train citizens to see themselves as patients and the state as therapist. The result is dependency, and that is exactly what Mamdani is all about. There's no problem too small the government can't fix. I'll do it all for you. The question is not whether he can empathize with frustration. The question is whether he can govern through the frustration. Brilliant column written by that columnist, that psychiatrist about Mamdani. Now we're blowing up drug boats. The counts are around 19, 20 kinetic strikes on boats. The deaths looks like about 76 now. And we're going to talk to, right now, Mike Brest, the Washington Examiner columnist, reporter. Mike, thank you very much for joining us on Chicago's Morning Answer, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're very welcome, sir. So, lots of different things in here. It kind of seems from your reporting that, well, a couple things. Some of your headlines are, Venezuela, not where the drug boats are getting their fentanyl. Military, not the best tool to stop drug interdictions. Where is the Trump administration going wrong?
So to back up a second, the Trump administration has taken this stance that we have to stop the importation of drugs into the United States. And they've essentially declared to Congress that they are in an armed conflict with these drug cartels. Mm-hmm. And so given that new designation, that new belief from the administration, they're implementing more aggressive actions to try and stop it, which is why they are using these strikes as opposed to, for decades, it was the Coast Guard's responsibility with law enforcement to stop these ships and then seize the drugs and arrest these individuals. And so this more aggressive action has raised legal questions about whether or not the U.S. should be legally allowed to effectively blow up these individuals who may or may not be carrying drugs on board, because the administration has not shown the media or the public any definitive evidence that there are drugs on board these ships. And so I think that's an important part of the situation. And then also the military has brought in a number of different aircraft carriers, a number of different ships, and really thousands of personnel into the Western Hemisphere in the Greater Caribbean Sea. In a buildup that is actually unprecedented in the 21st century. So this is a big moment for these operations. And so from my reporting and talking to current and former officials, the belief is that the number of U.S. troops in the region actually far exceeds what would be needed to carry out these strikes, which has these military officials as well as members of Congress on Capitol Hill concerned and aware of the possibility that there could be a bigger mission in play in the greater scheme of things, which focuses on Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro.
Yes. So from your reporting, 4,000 sailors in the Ford aircraft carrier strike group. You've got so many different ships, a destroyer squadron, guided missile destroyers. It's just amazing what's going on with this. What do you think? I know we don't know for sure, but what do you think this is all leading to? This has got to be a bigger picture thing. You know, to me, it looks like it's all about getting Maduro out, or maybe freaking him out and pressuring him. Plus, we know that Trump has given the CIA the green light on doing operations inside of Venezuela, and he's talked about perhaps even striking Venezuela. What do you think the bigger picture is on this and where this is headed to, from what you see?
I think you brought up a number of different good points, and so I think the strikes on drug boats are meant to stop those drugs from coming into the U.S., but part of the conversation is, how do you stop the creation of the drugs to begin with? And so that's where this question of whether or not we could see strikes on Venezuelan soil come into play, because it's unclear whether or not the president would be willing to do so. He's talked about it publicly, going back and forth. But the real question, as you mentioned, is focused on Maduro. And so I think it's important for your audience to remember that during the first Trump administration, he had similar feelings towards Maduro. It was in 2020 when the Department of Justice indicted him on narco-terrorism charges. Mm-hmm. So the U.S.-Maduro relationship has been bad for a long time, dating back to the president's first administration. There were officials in his first administration who have said since then that they talked him out of military action in Venezuela. And so the question is, will he do it this time around? And I think it's important to remember that Maduro has held firm in his power, his grip on power in Venezuela, during the first administration when they tried to pressure him out then. And so the question is, has Trump learned any lessons from that first time around that he's willing to implement now? And does he have the legal justification to start a war with Venezuela? And would he have Congress's support to do that?
You know, what's interesting, Mike, is also, Venezuela is besties with, very close with Iran and Cuba. There's a lot of, different interests that this aligns with that I'm thinking about a lot with you. And then, we know the pretty much all the, I'd say Democratic or like the UN and us, etc., believe that Juan Guaido was the official winner of the election, first run around with Maduro. And then I can't remember the lady's name, but she is the winner, according to most officials out there, in the last election, but Maduro rigged it. So that's very interesting to me, kind of thinking aloud with you here. So I wonder if this is something to do with outside of Venezuela itself, or do you think it's pretty strictly with just Maduro?
So I think several things can be true at once. And so I think there are parts of this that are about drug trafficking. I think there are parts of this about Maduro's grip in Venezuela, which is a very natural resource rich country.
Yeah. Okay.
There are parts about this about just sort of ensuring, as you mentioned, there are countries that are adversarial towards the United States that have relationships with Venezuela. Yeah. And it's about ensuring that the U.S. has power within its own hemisphere to control adversaries' relationships with those close to the country. And so I think there are a number of different factors at play that all sort of contribute to this overall situation where it seems like the U.S. is reaching a boiling point as it relates to Venezuela with, as you said, the arrival of the Gerald R. Ford carrier group into the region, which is, as you said, an additional 4,000 service members on top of the thousands that have already been deployed to the region. So this is a huge buildup of military might in this area. And at this moment, all they're doing is these lethal strikes on purported drug boats that happen, 2 or 3 times a week. But to have thousands of service members there in the region just for that, according to experts, is somewhat of an overkill given just the parameters of that operation.
One more thing. I know your columns that we're talking about, your reporting is on Venezuela, but to me, one of the things I have one of my longtime guests that I've had on my shows over the years is an expert with Texas and Mexico and intelligence and counterintelligence and counterterrorism. And he's told me that one of the best things we could do would be strike the labs, the narco labs in Mexico, for example, or do joint operations with Mexican special forces. But that's not happening right now, and I want to strike the super labs and the narco terrorists, drone them, if you will, because that's where a lot of the fentanyl is coming from, right? And I don't know if you have as much depth on Mexico compared to Venezuela, but that's the big thing. And I know that Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, is definitely a hard no on doing any of those things. But I kind of think that would be a big thing to stop the fentanyl flow.
I think you raise a very important point there, which is, and I want to break it down a little bit further. So as you said, a large majority, an overwhelming majority of fentanyl that comes into the country comes from Mexico through land routes, and the Mexican drug cartels that create it do so with Chinese chemical precursors. So they aren't able to do it without the Chinese. And so the question is, why is the U.S. taking such aggressive action towards largely cocaine smuggling from Venezuela and not fentanyl smuggling from Mexico? And so one of the big things that comes up when I've talked to people about this issue is that the U.S. and President Trump has a generally positive relationship with Mexican President Sheinbaum, whereas it couldn't be further from the truth with Maduro. And so we've seen President Sheinbaum make some decisions that fall in line with the president's desire to end fentanyl smuggling. We've seen additional Mexican military personnel along the border. We've seen them allow the CIA to increase its surveillance of Mexican territory. We've seen Mexico extradite alleged drug smugglers to the U.S. for prosecution. So the fascinating thing about the conversation is, even though the more deadly drugs are coming from Mexico, the administration views the leader of Mexico as more of an ally in fighting against the drug cartels than they do in Maduro.
Well, I appreciate you, Mike, coming on. Mike Brest from the Washington Examiner. Thank you very much for your coverage and for coming on this morning on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Now, coming up next, I want to talk about this is great. It's called MS Now. It's not MSNBC anymore, and they have a couple different campaign commercials. And you're going to love this. How many black or brown, because that's what they're all about on MSNBC, MS Now, whatever you want to call it, is identity. How many black or brown people do they have anchoring and hosting their shows? And then how are they portraying this new MS Now channel, which, by the way, it's the largest news network that is watched by African Americans, by black Americans. And so how they portray themselves in a new ad campaign with multiple ads is going to make you laugh. That is coming up next. It's Chris Kroc in for Dan Proft on AM 560, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Let me take a moment to talk about my friends at QC Kinetics. They're helping so many listeners regain their mobility free from joint pain. Does this sound like you? Where every time you move, it's a reminder of what hurts? A reminder of how far you've drifted from the life you once had? Well, relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from surgery. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli and her team tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain at its source. Stop masking the pain. Let QC Kinetics help you regain what pain took away. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment. And for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. It's a great time to book your free consultation to learn how QC Kinetics can help. Call 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. Once more, that phone number, 312-827-6261, and tell them I sent you when you call.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-899-5600. That's 708-899-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20. And we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
AM 560, The Answer.
If you are ready for a laugh, I got one for you. Chris Crockett, Verdant Properties, back Monday on AM 560, The Answer. Here's the new MS Now, a.k.a. formerly MSNBC, ad campaign, one of them, that they're playing. Listen to this.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility.
It goes on, and it features in between the white anchors and white hosts like Jen Psaki, Rachel Maddow, etc. It shows all these black people, and they're smiling, they're looking into the camera stoically. The only problem is none of these black people actually are involved with MSNBC. They're paid actors and actresses, starring in ZipRecruiter commercials, KFC, Target. Sad Ass Black Folk is one of the series. Girl at Audition number 2, Allstate underwear brand, Saks, Prince George. They're all in all these commercials, so they're literally paid black actors and all interspersed with all the white anchors. And they're talking about a more perfect union. Yes! MS Now launches. No black folks hosting their shows Monday through Friday, but they pay actors that are black to look like they're part of MSNBC or MS Now. You gotta love it. There you go. This is AM 560, The Answer, WIND, Chicago.
This might be the last day of the government shutdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. We think this is going to happen, and we're sorry that it